Have a nomination for a poll question.
Okay.
Would you rather lose the final 6-love, or get beat in the semis?
I'd rather get to the final.
But how was your weekend?
It was all right. How about you?
Totally different than I thought it was going to be. We ended up having our granddaughter for 24 hours because the daughter is sick. And
So let me see if I get this straight. When the kid's sick, you get her. When the daughter's sick, you still get her.
it's how it's gone lately.
Okay, just checking.
But considering she's the only thing that makes my wife happy these days, sure, whatever.
Morning, Ryan. How are you? Paul, AJC, good morning.
Morning, everybody.
Somehow my wine refrigerator that has some very expensive wine in it got to a temperature that froze all my wine. And I'm very worried that it ruined. Well, 2 bottles opened because they were frozen. They were only worth about $400 a piece. That was nice. Yeah.
Coffin by, I would too. Yeah, kid from Jacksonville went 15th to the Red Sox.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floormeister Studios. Floormeisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you on this Monday. As always, we hope you had a great weekend, but we do thank you for starting the week off with us. How the heck are you, Miller and Moulton? MillerandMoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. 45 days away to the first big day of the college football season, that Thursday heading into Labor Day. South Florida, Boise State, UCF's opener. An interesting 9 o'clock Eastern game between Nebraska and Cincinnati, which Nebraska bought out Cincinnati and got it moved to Arrowhead. What is Cincinnati thinking? 52 days away from the Eagles hosting the Cowboys to get the NFL party started. Top of the morning to you, Mark. How are you?
I'm doing well, David. I'm doing well. Cooked a lot this weekend. I went back to the kitchen. I was doing a lot of cooking this weekend for the family. So that's something I like to do because there wasn't a damn thing to watch. Listen to a lot of baseball on my phone, David. But
wow, you have got the fever.
I do. And I am this is where I'm at. I am probably going to get the MLB package for the second half. But then I will probably have to buck up and get the Bally's or FanDuel or whatever the hell it is,
right?
So I can watch the Rays as well. Because even if you get the MLB package, you don't get your home team. So I may have to double up and get both, but I have been enjoying. Obviously, the team I root for is doing well, even though they had a terrible weekend. But I'm in. I'm in. There's not a lot to watch in the summertime. I mean, now that we've changed the PGA Tour, that the elevated events are the only events where the big boys show up in besides the majors, and this week is a major week, and I'm fired up. I love the British Open. But yeah, it's, baseball's it. We've got the All-Star break here. Some teams are red hot, like the Red Sox heading into the break. So baseball's got a lot of juice going for the second half because so many teams are in it with the trade deadline a couple of weeks away. So yeah, I'm into baseball. I've hit the demo.
Yes, officially, you did a year or so ago. So, okay. It's just nice to know that the baseball hour now pertains to both of us. That's all. I mean, all it took was the Tigers coming out of hibernation in mid to late August of last year. So nice to have you aboard.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I don't know what you're playing for the second half of the year. 11.5 game lead. No one else in the division's even 500.
Nope, they're playing for the best record in baseball is what they're playing for. I mean,
Yeah.
That's really what's left because that division, barring an unbelievable collapse by Detroit and a hell of a second half by someone else that I think they would have to have a better second half than Detroit did a year ago. Yeah, that's over. That's over, much like the Wimbledon women's final was over before it seemed to start.
Well, I want to ask a poll question based off of it. All right. And I don't know if anybody's going to give a rat's you know what. Okay. And I'm being very serious when I ask this question because it is embarrassing. It's humiliating to get beat in a Grand Slam final 6-love, 6-love. Do you know how many times that has happened over the last 115 years? 3. And one of those 3 was Saturday at Wimbledon. Before Saturday, it hadn't happened since the Reagan administration, since Steffi did it to Zareva in 88. And before that, it hadn't happened since 1911. So I'm serious when I ask this question. Would you rather get to the final but lose bagel, or would you rather just get beat in the semis?
No, I'd much rather get to the final. It's not even close. I mean, I still believe it's a hell of an accomplishment. To my knowledge, she had not been in a Grand Slam final before.
She hadn't.
And she may never get to one again. We talked about this last week. From a mental standpoint, there's not a harder sport really than tennis, mentally and physically. Golf has the same mental anguish, but tennis is a very physically demanding sport. It's hard. And the accomplishment to get to a final is something most players will never realize. Not to mention, it's a nice trophy for finishing in second. It
Now,
really is.
That I will give you. I mean, in fact, it's so nice. Okay. It looks like it could be, what they give the winner. I mean, it's a big plate, right?
Right. In watching the men's final on Sunday, my wife said, I think I like the second place trophy more than the first place trophy.
And I will say, if you make the final, all right, you do get to meet the future Queen of England.
Whoa. She doesn't get that title, does she? He's the king. She doesn't get queen.
Oh,
Liz's husband never got called king.
No, I understand, but she gets queen. First off, Charles made what's her face queen?
Camilla's queen?
Yeah, because they wanted her to be queen.
Oh, Hussey's queen?
She is. They wanted her to be queen consort, but Charles said no. She's queen. Now, I mean, they don't treat her like, they did Elizabeth, but I'm pretty sure she's got the title.
Huh. All right. If you say
No,
so.
no, no. No, Princess Catherine there. Oh, no, that's the future Queen of England.
Okay.
Oh, no.
If you
Oh,
say
yeah.
so.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey,
Sure.
you,
You love these royals. I mean, if Pippa was out there, I'd have been a lot more excited.
I understand that,
A
by the
lot
way.
better looking.
She's
And
done her,
this one's very pretty.
and Pippa's done her hair totally differently, by the way, than she ever has before. It's just caused nothing but headlines and, the tabloid press. I mean, why cover something real when you can cover this? So, but yes, okay, the hussy.
Can I just stop you for a second?
Okay,
The tabloids are why cover this. You read it. You like it more than anybody. So don't start knocking the British tabloids for covering the hair of the princess's sister, or the princess for that matter, because she had a new do, different color.
yeah.
You eat this stuff up with a spoon and a big spoon.
I love how they fall all over themselves for all of this. Okay, I do. I find it
They and you.
hysterical. Well, yeah, I read it, sure. Well, first off, because I'm reading it in my tabloid, the New York Post, okay, which is owned by someone who owns their tabloids, Rupert Murdoch. Okay, so I get all of it. Yeah, it comes with the Post. So while I'm reading all my sports and my politics and my other things, okay, I get my royal news. It drives my mother crazy, by the way. My mother's proud Irish woman, hates the British. Okay, and I'm like, the Churchill. I get hating them, but about from 1940 on, they're kind of big. Well, we needed them. Come on. And she holds a grudge better than even me. So, no, because I always here's why I'm fascinated by it, because we don't have it. And so I just like to see just how cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs they get about all the little things. And then you get the whole family drama. Okay. The spare marries an American divorcee biracial actress. I mean, man, I had wished they had just stayed for a little longer. I mean, this was spectacular. If this had been submitted as a BBC soap opera, they would have rejected it and said, come on. Okay. One of the two boys is not marrying an American actress who's biracial and divorced. Come on. That's not happening. Huh. Yes, it is. And you know what? They're going to move to America and they're going to leave the monarchy. Yep. They're out. Are you kidding me? Seriously, would have been rejected. This plot is unbelievable. Oh, yeah. I love it all.
Oh, we know.
Yeah.
We know.
But the highlight of my weekend, you asked me how my weekend was. Can I tell you about the highlight? It wasn't the highlight, but it was something that I said on Friday's show that I was going to do. I had one mission over the weekend.
French fries.
I had to find a Checkers. I had to find it. I had never gone to a Checkers. And there was a big push on Friday, National French Fry Day, for how great Checkers fries were. So I had to go find them. So yesterday I did. I was planning on doing it earlier in the weekend, but actually it waited till around midday. And so I found a Checkers for my lunch yesterday. First off, the burger was outstanding. I mean, it wasn't cheap, but it was outstanding. All right, it's got mustard on it. Not my cup of tea. I would have taken the mustard off. Okay. But the fries, they were solid. They were good. But I think the Arby's curly fries are better, and I think that they're closest in texture and taste and what have you to the Arby's curly fries. So would I have put them in my top 4? I would not. Burger was outstanding. Cannot say that enough. Okay, onions, lettuce, they got a sauce. Okay, big burger, lots of cheese. I think the burger is actually a double. Okay, I mean it was outstanding, Mark. The
I'll take your word for it.
burger was better than the fries.
Good to know.
But so I sampled it. Thanks to our audience. They made me intrigued on National French Fry Day, and I sampled Checkers fries. You know, I don't think they're as good as Arby's curly fries. I don't know if I would have had them on the list.
By the way, just to finish up that poll from Friday, McDonald's receiving a big, big boost from Miami-Dade ended up winning with nearly 35% of the vote. A
Unbelievable.
mere 0.8 percentage points ahead of Five Guys. Arby's in a distant third, Checkers in last. And by the looks of things, David, a much smaller vote when it came to watching Wimbledon, and 63% of our audience wasn't interested in the tennis. The starting five is 25 minutes away. Southwest Florida's scorching heat is on its way. Stay cool with Air Advantage. As a proud Rheem Pro partner, Air Advantage delivers top-notch air conditioning solutions to keep you cool and comfortable. Right now, enjoy 18 months, no interest, no payments on qualifying systems. Call 433-4635 today for expert installation and unbeatable comfort all summer long. Online at myairadvantage.com. Air Advantage. Call today, 433-4635.
With summer approaching, time to take care of your own house. So stop into the Floor Meisters and see their huge in-stock selection of carpet. The Floor Meisters has 100 rolls to choose from, starting at $2.99 a square foot for carpet, pad, and installation. Come in and ask for Dave and have him show you the Dream Weaver Select. Many styles and colors to choose from to fit everyone's taste. Floor Meisters, 6281 Naples Boulevard in Naples, right next to Costco, or go to the web, floormeisters.com.
For over 50 years, the Nolan family has been dedicated to protecting local families. Nolan Family Insurance is a second-generation independent agency that specializes in home, flood, auto, and boat insurance. They take the time needed to explain your coverage options and answer your questions so you can make an informed decision that's right for you. If you're looking for an agency that treats you like family, call 941-639-1122 or go to NolanAgency.com. That's 941-639-1122 or NolanAgency.com. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.com.
This is Miller and Moulton.
What's up, Tim? DC, I'm not. McDonald's won that on a reputation vote. It's like saying the Cowboys are America's team. That could be a poll question. In 2025, who really is America's team?
I like it a lot. Who are you nominating?
Cowboys, Chiefs, for sure. The Yankees. Do you nominate the Eagles? Do you nominate the Lakers? Do you nominate the Dodgers?
Or do you just go with what mediocre to bad franchise are you tired of the national media talking about all the time? Lakers, Cowboys. Maybe you stop right there.
A couple years ago would have been the Knicks.
Do you want me to put up the 6060 question or?
No, I just, you know.
We can put it up there. No, I mean, we need a question.
Sure. Spitz, that's a good point.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour on this Monday. Thanks so much for being with us. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Matt Vincenzi, who covers golf, with a focus these days on the LIV Tour. He'll join us in a little more than an hour. Tim McKone from the Sports Hub 98.5 in Boston. How about them Red Sox? My goodness. They're going to keep playing simulated games during the All-Star break. They can, stay in the groove. 10 in a row. Good for them. Very much in it now in the AL East. Knocked the Rays right out of the playoffs.
Oh, yeah. They're 2.5 games ahead of the Rays now. They're closing in on the Yankees. They're only tied in the win column with the Yankees right now heading into the All-Star break.
But also knocked the Rays down below the Mariners. Mariners, they swept your Tigers while the Rays lost a 4-game series in Boston. And you add it up, and the Rays are 2.5 games out of the playoffs? Something like that.
Yep. There it is.
Rough week for the Rays. But All-Star break time in baseball. Open Championship week. They're in Northern Ireland, where Rory will be the conquering hero, having won the career slam, and now can he win in front of the home folk?
He couldn't even beat a guy named Gotterup.
Couldn't beat some guy from Jersey, for goodness sakes.
Batter up, Gotterup, who the hell's up? I have no idea, but Gotterup took down Rory in the closing holes. They showed a stat with 3 to play. On the week, Rory was 5 under on the last 3 holes. Got her up was 1 under. And got her up, got it done, and finished the deal to win the Scottish Open. But today, David, is, from a food standpoint, a significant day.
It is?
Today is National Mac and Cheese Day.
Oh.
Do you know that the oldest known recipe for mac and cheese goes back to medieval times? There are recipes dating for mac and cheese going back to the 1300s. The first published recipe of mac and cheese was in 1824. But then Kraft, David.
Right.
Kraft did it. 1937, Kraft introduced boxed macaroni and cheese.
Revolutionary.
That was it.
It's not the best, but it's far and away the best selling. Kind of like McDonald's fries. Ba-dum-bum.
My daughter does not like mac and cheese in any form.
Wow.
The boxed form, the homemade form, it doesn't matter. Loves pasta, will eat cheese, hates mac and cheese.
Well, that had to slay you. You probably at some point, being the chef that you are, you thought, well, okay, she doesn't like the Kraft stuff, but I will make her mac and cheese. This is all the good stuff. She'll love this. And my guess is you threw a little bowl together, you put it in front of her. She took 2 bites and she went, yeah, this ain't working for me. And you had to be just flabbergasted.
Well, no, I went the other way because she didn't like mine, but I remember as a kid not really liking the homemade mac and cheese. I liked the stuff out of a box when I was a kid. I wanted that powdery orange stuff mixed in with a little bit of milk and butter. And so I tried the boxed, and she wanted nothing to do with that either. And I'm like, all right, fine by me.
Do you think we take one more shot, before she leaves the house? You got a few years.
She's the quirkiest eater I know.
Huh.
I've given up on things like that.
Interesting.
Well, I still make it. Wife and I'll eat it.
Right.
You're out of luck, daughter. Have some leftovers. But it's National Mac and Cheese Day.
So
I would think that was a lot of people's first thing they cooked.
So we have our sports poll question up, right?
We do. We have our tennis question up.
Right.
Would you rather lose in the finals 6-0, 6-0 or get beat in the semis? Right now, semis, early voting with a slight lead. I just want to remind everybody that Anasimova there, who finished in second, losing 0-0 to Swiatek, earned just a little less than $2.1 million for her appearance in the finals, because the men and women at Wimbledon make the exact same amount. Sabalenka and is it Bencic, the other semifinal loser?
Yes.
They each earned a little over $1 million. So I can give you 1 million reasons why I would rather go one more round, not to mention a lovely plate that you can use as a charcuterie board for finishing in second at Wimbledon.
I voted semis. 6-love is humiliating, historically humiliating. Okay, I just no. I'd rather lose like 6-4 in the deciding set of the semis. But honestly, the million though, I have to admit, you're working on me there.
Yeah, she beat the number 1 player in getting to the final, something she'd never done before.
Yep.
A remarkable accomplishment in and of itself. It earned her a final. She ran out of gas, and she got whooped. It happens.
Oh, she didn't run out of gas. She choked. She admitted, my nerves, I was a mess. Okay. I mean, she had 28 errors, for goodness sakes. They played 12 games. I mean, she was a mess. So I'm voting I'd rather lose in the semis. Okay. But I am also going to say, although you make $1 million more going to the final.
Yes. And you've gone to a final. It's so hard in that sport. I mean, think about the number of players there are that are really good. Think about how good you have to be to make it on tour in tennis. And then think about just how good you have to be to get to a final. As we watched the semis, and I don't know how much of the semis you watched on Friday afternoon or Friday late morning, David, and Sinner got lucky to get to the semis. He was getting beat in the quarters. He was done. And then he plays Djokovic, maybe the best player to have ever played the game. And obviously, Joker's a little older now, and Sinner just demolished him. He outpowered him for 3 straight sets.
Well, it's funny. So Sinner in the round of 16 is down 2 sets and has a bum elbow. His right elbow, and he's right-handed. He's hurting, and he's losing. And the guy he's playing tears his bicep on a serve and has to retire. Sinner then loses 1 set the rest of the tournament. And like you said, he plays Djokovic, and Djokovic on the second to last point of his quarterfinal win fell hard and awkwardly to the ground. And he clearly was not himself in the semifinals. Sinner even apologized and was like, I didn't really face Djokovic today. But he did dismantle Alcaraz. But it's 2 historic wins when you think about it. I don't know if anyone's ever down 2 sets won a match because the other person couldn't finish. And then they end up winning a Grand Slam title, Wimbledon of all titles. And then on the other side, you have a 6-love final. 6-love, though. I mean,
yeah, I was running around Saturday. I knew it started at 11. I had things to do, running a couple errands, had to go to the store. And I'm like, I got back and it was about 12:25. And I'm like, ooh, should be able to catch. We should be in the second set here. I mean, that's really what I thought. And she's getting interviewed.
Right.
I mean, it was long over by that point.
57 minutes. Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I was hopeful. My wife has realized I've explained to her what tennis fans root for 99 times out of 100 at a Grand Slam. They root for more tennis.
Yes.
It doesn't matter who's playing. And when Sinner won the third set, his second set, I'm like, all right, Alcaraz, come on, let's win the 4th. And she went, more tennis? I went, exactly.
Yep.
That's what I'm rooting for right now. But he couldn't get it done.
So that's our sports question. Do you have a mac and cheese poll question?
I would probably just simply go with, what type of mac and cheese do you prefer, homemade or boxed? Because there are a lot of people out there that, for whatever reason, prefer processed cheese. Miller and Moulton, starting 5s next.
Defining a new era in men's health. Get stronger and healthier at Game Day Men's Health. With our in-house laboratory, get in, get treated, and get back to your passion and purpose. Call 239-427-3441 for our Bonita Springs or Naples location to set up your free testosterone test and consultation. Mention Miller Moulton Radio Show for a 10% discount on your service. Start living your best with Game Day Men's Health, Bonita Springs and Naples. Call 239-427-3441 today.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
Wine glasses never fall over until you get a brand new rug.
Oh, no!
Ketchup bottles act normal till you're wearing a new shirt.
Oh, you kidding me?
And rocks slide peacefully on the road till the day you get a brand new windshield. Then they fly up off the road and attack without mercy. That's why new windshields from Glass Doctor come with our windshield protection plan. Unlimited repairs and 1 replacement for 12 months. Don't just fix it, protect it. Glass Doctor. A neighborly company.
With summer approaching, time to take care of your own house. So stop into the Floor Meisters and see their huge in-stock selection of carpet. The Floor Meisters has 100 rolls to choose from, starting at $2.99 a square foot for carpet, pad, and installation. Come in and ask for Dave and have him show you the Dream Weaver Select. Many styles and colors to choose from to fit everyone's taste. Floormeisters, 6281 Naples Boulevard in Naples, right next to Costco, or go to the web, floormeisters.com.
This is Miller and Moulton.
I understand, EB, but you either like boxed mac and cheese or you like homemade mac and cheese. I don't care if it's Velveeta, Kraft. I don't give a damn what it is. I would never eat mac and cheese out of a box anymore. Homemade, there's a huge difference. Your Aunt Jessie may not cook it as well as your Uncle Vito. I mean, they could be very different. One could use shells, one could use elbow macaroni, but that's a homemade version versus a boxed version. I didn't watch a lot of the American Century. I had some of it on. They were all, other than Pavelski or whatever, the guy that won it, they choked like dogs coming down the stretch. Thought that was kind of interesting. Pavelski, whatever.
I'm all for the ABS system. Mark's won me over on this. I was against it 10 years ago.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. Matt Vincenzi, 1 hour from now to talk some golf. It is Open Championship week, after all. Tim McKone from the Sports Hub, 98.5 in Boston. How about them Red Sox winners of 10 in a row? And the Patriots training camps getting underway. We'll talk a little Beantown sports with Tim McKone coming up in a little more than an hour. The football magic numbers are 45 and 52. That's right. Time now for
The Starting Five. 5 big stories you need to know. Here is the Starting Five.
Well, we've reached the All-Star break in baseball. Roughly 65 games left, so we're well past the halfway point. Toronto leads the East by 2. The Tigers, the Central, by 11.5. The Astros lead the West by 5. Philly, a half a game up on the Mets in the NL East. Cubs, just a game up on the Brewers in the Central. And the Dodgers, despite a recent 7-game losing streak, lead the West by 5.5. Your wild cards, if the playoffs started after the All-Star game: Yankees, Red Sox, and Mariners in the AL. Brewers, Mets, and Padres in the NL. The Red Sox, as we mentioned, have won 10 in a row. They swept the 4-game series from the Rays. They scored 3 in the 6th. They beat Tampa Bay 4-1. Rays went 1-6 last week. Ouch. Yankees lost 2 of 3 to the Cubs. Dansby Swanson with a 2-run homer. Cubs over the Yankees 4-1. Entertaining series. A's doubled up the Jays 6-3. They hit 3 homers, and they won the series, taking 2 out of 3 from the first place Jays, who were 2 up on the Yankees and 3 up on the Red Sox at the All-Star break. How about the Brewers with a 7-game win streak at the break? Thank you very much. They dominated Washington 8-1. Phillies took over first in the East. JT Realmuto doubled home Bryce Harper in the 8th to break a 1-1 tie. Phillies avoid the sweep in San Diego, but winning 2-1, while the Mets gave up a run in the bottom of the 9th to the Royals and lost 3-2. Marlins took 2 out of 3 from the Orioles. How about Kyle Stowers? 3 homers, 6 RBIs. He'll be in the home run derby. There's a bunch of guys who you don't know who will be in the home run derby later on tonight. Marlins 11-1 over the Orioles. Speaking of 11, the Dodgers needed 11 innings to beat the Giants 5-2 after the Giants had scored 2 in the 9th to send it to extra innings. Dodgers took 2 out of 3 in the series. Reds doubled up the Rockies 4-2. It was Terry Francona's 2,000th win as manager, the 13th all-time to reach 2,000. The Rockies at the All-Star break are 22-74. Wow. Seattle with 4 in the 9th to sweep the Tigers 8-4. Guardians have won 6 of 7 entering the break. They beat the White Sox 6-5-10. You know, we've been talking about the Rockies so much. The White Sox are getting a pass. They're not as bad as they were last year, but they're bad. They're 32-65 at the break. That's on pace to win like 53 or 54 games and lose almost 110. Pirates snapped an 8-game skid. They beat the Twins 2-1. Twins had a chance to get to 500 with the win. Texas beat Houston 5-1. Trevor Siemian hit his 250th career homer. It's a nice, solid career, isn't it? Astros entered the break having lost 5 of 6. Diamondbacks 5-1 over the Angels. They scored 4 in the 4th to avoid the sweep. And Mark, if we had said one of these teams would be 11 games under 500 and the other would be 5 games over at the All-Star break, Cardinals beat the Braves 5-4, and we'd have the teams totally mixed up.
Yes, we would. Yes, we would. Obviously, we know the Braves' injuries, but despite that, they've played lousy most of the year. and are 42-53 at the break.
Cardinals a game and a half out of the final wild card spot. To Wimbledon we go. Jannik Sinner wins his first Wimbledon title. 4 sets over Carlos Alcaraz. Alcaraz had never lost the Grand Slam final. He was 5-0, and he won the first set. And then Sinner took him out 4-4-4. His fourth major, Sinner's won 3 of the last 4. He would have won 4 in a row if Alcaraz hadn't staged that amazing comeback at the French, in which Sinner had 3 championship points. Remember, Sinner down 2 sets in the 4th round, and the guy who was beating him had to withdraw due to injury. And then he took that American Ben Shelton in straight sets, Djokovic in straight sets, and Alcaraz in 4 to win. Saturday, women's final, Iga Swiatek destroyed 23-year-old American Amanda Anisimova 6-love in less than an hour. It's the 3rd time in Grand Slam history that the final was 6-love, and it led to our poll question: would you rather lose 6-love in the final, or just get beat in the semis and not have to deal with the humiliation? I'd rather get beat in the semis and not have to deal with the humiliation. Mark said, yeah, I want to go to the finals. And by the way, I get an extra $1 million going to the final.
And David, I'll be brutally honest. If the money were the same, I'd still rather go to the final.
Fair enough. Just the 3rd time in 115 years that a player has been beaten 6-love in a Grand Slam final. First time since 1988. In golf, American Chris Gotterup, who turns 26 this coming Sunday, outplayed Rory McIlroy down the stretch to win the Scottish Open by 2, his 2nd tour win. Rory finished T2, Schauffele and Scheffler finished T8. I don't know how many of you saw this. It's maybe the best hour of golf that I've seen this decade. The Evian Championships, which is a major on the LPGA Tour. 24-year-old Grace Kim had to eagle the 18th to force a playoff. She did.
And get her playing partner to not make birdie on that same hole. Par 5, she eagles it, but if her playing partner birdies, she wins the tournament. She missed her birdie putt after the eagle was made, and that forced a playoff.
It was about a 7-footer, and she just missed it. So then they go to the playoff. Well, Kim knocks it in the hazard on her second shot. So she has to drop out of the hazard. She's near pin high, but she's chipping 4. Meanwhile, her opponent is pin high just to the left of the green and 2. Yeah, Kim chips it in. And it was not a routine chip. We're talking about
it was not.
Chipping over the hazard, over about 10 yards of rough, and about 50 feet of green to work with. She makes it. So then her opponent has to make birdie just to force the second playoff hole. And she makes the same putt that she missed at the end of regulation to win it. So to the second playoff hole we go, and Kim eagles it again. She played the par 5 18th, 5 under the last 3 times she played it. The 24-year-old from Australia wins her first ever major, fends off 22-year-old Ginu Thidikul, who's going to be a star, by the way, and she would have won her first major. A remarkable final hour plus of the Evian Championship and the LPGA Tour. The LIV Tour was in Spain at Valderrama. American Taylor Gooch held off hard-charging John Rahm, who shot a 65 in the final round, but Gooch beat him by 1. Remember, the Open Championship at Royal Portrush in Northern Ireland begins in 3 days. NASCAR, we told you what was going to happen. It was a road course, and Shane Van Gisbergen was going to win, and he did. His 3rd straight win on a road course. his 4th win overall, all of them on road courses. This was a thrilling race. He led 97 of the 110 laps. The only time he didn't lead was when he went into the pits. Ross Chastain qualified 4th, finished 24th. Dover is next. Yay! Circles again. Yay! Mark, IndyCar did something unique. They had 2 races on the same track. They called it the Grand Prix of Iowa Part 1 and the Grand Prix of Iowa Part 2. One race was Saturday, one race was Sunday. Pato O'Ward won the race on Saturday. Alex Palou won the race on Sunday. They both get full points and everything. I don't know what I think of that. WNBA, Caitlin Clark still can't hit her threes, but she's acting more like a true point guard. 14 points, 13 assists. Paige Beckers did have 21 points in the defeat, but Indiana's won 2 in a row. They beat Dallas 102-83. Our buddy Semesco lost 2 since we've last talked. He got beat by Indiana Friday night and blew a 19-point second quarter lead in New York, and the Liberty beat Atlanta 79-72. Kelsey Plum with 23. LA beat Connecticut 92-88. And the Washington Mystics went on the road and beat Seattle. They're quietly becoming a pretty good team, a playoff team, in fact. 74-69, Washington with the win. And finally, the baseball draft was yesterday. Now, you know me, I love me a draft, but it's tough when you don't know who the guys are. Even if you watch what you think's a decent amount of college baseball. You're like, oh, yeah, I heard of this guy. Oh, yeah, they showed the video. I remember him, blah, blah, blah. But I'll tell you what, I give ESPN credit. They had the Tennessee coach on as part of their coverage. He knows all these guys. He was tremendous. It really helped. Anyway, Mark, there were 5 kids from the greater Jacksonville area who got drafted in the first 3 rounds last night, headlined by Kyle Witherspoon going 15th overall to the Red Sox. He's a right-handed pitcher. A kid from Venice High School went 16th overall to the Twins, Merrick Houston. And Zach Root from Fort Myers High fell to 40th. The thought was he'd go a little higher than that, but the kid's a lefty pitcher, and he grew up idolizing Clayton Kershaw and the Dodgers, and he gets drafted by the Dodgers. So, kind of cool. No guarantees, even if you're a first-round pick in baseball, that you'll make it to the show and you'll succeed because, well, this just in. Toughest thing to do in sports could be throwing and hitting a baseball, but some cool stories last night. Also, Matt Holliday's kid, the one kid's already drafted by the Orioles. His youngest son got drafted 4th overall by the Rockies. So obviously he grew up in Denver. He went to all those Rockies games. There's video of him literally with Matt holding him, walking around the infield with a binky in his mouth. Okay, and now here he is, a Colorado Rocky.
Something all young players yearn for. To one day play for Colorado. 74, right?
22 and 74, yes.
Right. 22 and 74.
But it's only go up from here.
We're building something now.
Right, you're part of it, kid. Yay. And 8 minutes before the hour. That was the starting 5. 5 big stories and the baseball draft here on Miller and Moulton.
David, that's as hard as you've ever had to work for the starting 5. I really believe you could have said one big story and a bunch of stuff that I found that I was going to enlighten you with. Because if you think about it, your big stories, Wimbledon, there aren't a lot. I mean, just based on our audience, not interested. WNBA, we all know that, Yeah, that's not a monster. The
Right.
LPGA Avion Championship, which was remarkable.
Riveting.
It was the best sports story of the weekend.
It was.
But as far as what people care about,
Right.
you know,
9 people listening to this show actually watched it, and 2 of them are the hosts.
no, I didn't watch it. I just read about it. And when I'll be
Gotcha.
damned, look at that. No, I mean, it's not a knock. I'm saying flat out, until tomorrow, when you have to work even harder to
Right.
come up with a starting 5. And then again on Wednesday, we pray for some football stories for you. So you do have 5 big stories that everyone might be interested in.
I did manage to leave out the NBA Summer League, though, and I'm very proud of that. Okay. Although Cooper Flagg scored 31 in his second game, and the Mavs said, "Yeah, we've seen enough. You're done."
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Wine glasses never fall over until you get a brand new rug.
Oh, no.
Ketchup bottles act normal till you're wearing a new shirt.
Oh, you kidding me?
And rocks slide peacefully on the road till the day you get a brand new windshield. Then they fly up off the road and attack without mercy. That's why new windshields from Glass Doctor come with our windshield protection plan. Unlimited repairs and 1 replacement for 12 months. Don't just fix it, protect it. Glass Doctor, a neighborly company.
Southwest Florida's scorching heat is on its way. Stay cool with Air Advantage. As a proud Rheem Pro partner, Air Advantage delivers top-notch air conditioning solutions to keep you cool and comfortable. Right now, enjoy 18 months, no interest, no payments on qualifying systems. Call 433-4635 today for expert installation and unbeatable comfort all summer long. Online at myairadvantage.com. Air Advantage. Call today, 433-4635.
With summer approaching, time to take care of your own house. So stop into the Floor Meisters and see their huge in-stock selection of carpet. The Floor Meisters has 100 rolls to choose from, starting at $2.99 a square foot for carpet, pad, and installation. Come in and ask for Dave and have him show you the Dream Weaver Select. Many styles and colors to choose from to fit everyone's taste. Floor Meisters, 6281 Naples Boulevard in Naples, right next to Costco, or go to the web, floormeisters.com.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine, no more snoring, no more tossing, no more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
Miller and Moulton are very grateful to you, the listeners, for making us one of the highest rated shows for men, because the working man is one of the toughest demos to reach, and we do. Great sponsors like Floor Meisters, American Paint Supplies, Glass Doctor, Sleep Treatment Direct, Game Day Men's Health, and Molly Maid recognize that, and we thank them. And if you own a business and working men are your clientele, the most cost-effective way to reach them is through us. Text Miller and Moulton at 21,000 or directly via X at that Mark Miller or the David.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Grizzle, that's a great question. I think in order, it would be Beyonce, and I am not a fan at all. Like, I'm sure I know more than one song, but I couldn't name a song, if you know what I mean. I would go Beyonce, All-Star Game, SEC Media Days, and then that other thing. But that is a great question, Grizzle. I love it. And I got you, Grizzle. Beyonce's such a monster star. I would like to see it. That would be like, all right, I'd go to that. Same way I'd go to Taylor Swift if given the opportunity. It's not my music, but there aren't any bigger stars in that world right now.
Grizzle, what is HSV?
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floormeister Studios. Floormeisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Hour 2 of Miller and Moulton on this Monday. Hope you had a great weekend. Thanks for starting your week off with us, Miller and Moulton. MillerandMoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Atlanta's kind of the destination sports-wise in America this week. Major League Baseball All-Star game after the Home Run Derby. And SEC Media Days. A 4-day extravaganza.
No, not just SEC Media Days and the All-Star game, although these two do not qualify as sport. The WWE's having their big event in Atlanta this week, and Beyonce's playing the Mercedes-Benz Dome this week as well.
Damn.
One of our Twitch listeners there, listed all four and said, what would you want to attend? And I said in order, it would be the Beyonce show first. And I am not a Beyonce fan. I don't dislike her, but I literally couldn't name you a Beyonce song. I'm not saying I wouldn't know songs that you played that were Beyonce's, but I couldn't, with a gun put to my head for $1 million and someone said, name a Beyonce song, I think I'd be in big trouble. The All-Star game would be second, Media Days would be third, and the wrestling would be last on my list.
Home Run Derby interest you at all?
Yeah, it does. But if it was both days of the All-Star game are going to see Beyonce, I'd go see Beyonce. She and Taylor Swift are the biggest stars on the planet today. If given the opportunity to see them in concert, I love concerts, I would go.
I'm with you. I would as well. Beyonce would be my number one. I mean, obviously the WWE I'd have last. I have no interest. But and then figure out what's 2 and what's 3. I'm not as fascinated by SEC Media Days as you are, but I'd still put it ahead of the WWE.
I don't know if I'm fascinated by them. All I said last week is that I mean, it's July, David. Shows are difficult this time of year. To be given essentially 4 hours of content every day at your fingertips, that doesn't excite me. It just makes my life easy. And I think the content would be good. I think our audience would gobble up hearing from coaches and even other media members that cover SEC teams. So that wasn't really so much for me as it is for the show. From a Miller and Moulton standpoint, I think it would be worth going to SEC Media Days.
Let me ask you this question. There are 4 coaches / programs highlighted today, and they are LSU, Ole Miss. So in the morning, you get Brian Kelly and you get Lane Kiffin.
And LSU is going to be good. There are a lot of people that think this is the year that Brian Kelly finally takes LSU to the playoff.
Well, you stole my thunder there, because what I was going to ask, it's possibly a poll question. I don't know if there's enough interest in it, but will LSU make the playoff? Yes or no? And most people think, I mean, even if you think LSU is going to be good, your gut reaction is, oh, yeah. Well, okay. How many teams are they going to get? Remember, we have just 12 this year. We have just 12. And didn't the SEC only get 3 last year?
That's correct.
Same number as the ACC, right?
Well, and LSU goes on the road to start the season at Clemson, not a neutral site game.
Right.
That is a true road game in Clemson. One Death Valley visiting another Death Valley.
And let's face it, we love LSU for playing these games. I mean, we can recite all of the games this decade under Brian Kelly that he plays a big boy week 1. They lose. I mean, that's the problem, Mark. LSU keeps losing these games. And for as much as we would like them to take strength of schedule into account, what have they yet to do, Mark, when determining who makes the playoffs in college football?
They don't care about who you play. They don't care about strength of schedule. What they care about is what's in the left-hand column. How many games did you win? And when you look at LSU this year, you've got the at Clemson game. They also have road games at Alabama and Oklahoma. Oklahoma's going to be better. They are. They have home games against Florida, South Carolina, Texas A&M, and to a lesser extent, Arkansas. They also play at Ole Miss, but I don't think Ole Miss is going to be nearly the team that they were a year ago.
Yeah, I don't think so. They lost a lot.
A lot. And on defense, as much as anything, we all know about Dart going to the NFL, and he was obviously a very good college quarterback. But that was a defense that was built to take that team to the playoff a year ago. They invested heavily in the portal to a lot of linemen who are no longer there. So I really believe Ole Miss takes a step back this year.
But that would be my poll question on this, the first day of SEC Media Days. Will LSU make the playoff this year? Most people think they will lose week 1 to Clemson.
Clemson's favored.
Mark, isn't Clemson going to be favored in every game they play this year?
I believe so, David.
I don't believe they play Notre Dame.
They do not. When reading and listening to a couple of podcasts on Clemson's year, their beat writer had them losing at Louisville. They play Louisville on a Friday night on the road.
Mm-hmm.
And just based on what's before that game, he thought it set up much more favorably for Louisville than it does for Clemson at that point. But literally, this is a guy who covers them and says their floor is 11 games. That's what they need to win in order to appease their fan base. That's a tough road to hoe for the Clemson Tigers, and it all starts week 1 against LSU.
But do Do you think LSU makes the playoff this year?
I haven't gotten far enough to start telling you who my playoff teams are, but I think that they definitely will be in the mix. Brian Kelly thinks it's the best team he's had. They have a really good quarterback. We all know the talent that LSU gets. Can they win 10 games? Win 10 games, you're in. And that's a difficult schedule. And look at Florida's obviously no pushover. It's a home game. That's another early season. I mean, they have Florida and Clemson early in that schedule.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. Yes, they do. And who knows? They might have to run the table after September if things don't go well.
And at that point, if they have a bad September and lose both, can they play their way back into the playoff?
I believe in recent years, if LSU wins at Alabama, they make the playoff. You go back to 2007, Nick playing them for the first time as the Alabama coach. LSU won the Natty that year. They won at Alabama, scoring 2 touchdowns late. 2011, the game of the century. LSU won it. Now, they ended up losing to Bama in a rematch, but they made the 2-team playoff. 2019, Joe Burrow and company went to Tuscaloosa, beat Alabama, won the Natty. I mean, it is ironic for all the talk of getting Alabama and anybody else in Death Valley on a Saturday night that LSU has played for the Natty 3 times in the last generation, and they beat Alabama and Tuscaloosa all 3 times.
And while I have no problem putting up your will LSU make the playoff poll question, another sub-poll question that if you don't like, I may have to write down for future use. How many SEC teams will make the playoff? 3 or 4?
Might have to leave room for 5. I mean, it's possible. It's unlikely.
It is. But 5's more likely than 2.
Yes.
I think that's a fair statement to say, that 5 is far more likely than 2. But SEC Media Day is kicking off today. The All-Star Game festivities begin today in Atlanta. It is the hub of the sports world for the next couple of days between college football and professional baseball, as we are at the All-Star break with the Red Sox, the hottest team in the game right now, and the Jays leading the AL East. The Rays not in the playoffs. That was not the case when we went to the weekend. Finished the show Friday morning, the Rays were a playoff team. Monday morning, not so much. So it is completely crushing, David, what you were looking for in terms of a trade deadline. Because I could argue more teams are in it today than were even in it on Friday.
Have you seen the list competing tonight in the Home Run Derby? O'Neal Cruz. Quickly, who's he play for? And I don't mean you. I mean everybody listening. O'Neal Cruz, who's he play for? The answer is the Pirates. Cal Raleigh of the Mariners. That's great. He has, 39 homers at the break? Didn't Acuna pull out of the Home Run Derby yesterday?
Did he really?
I think he got replaced by Olson on his own team, Matt Olson.
All right.
But I think Acuna had to pull out for one reason or another. James Wood. He plays for the Nats. Byron Buxton of the Twins. Brent Rooker
for the cycle yesterday
on his bobblehead day.
Right.
He said he hasn't been that nervous in a long time. By the way, his manager was going to take him out. They were up big, and the coaches were like, "Hey, he's a home run away from the cycle. What are you doing?" He went, "Oh, sorry, man." Brent Rooker of the A's, Junior Caminero of the Rays, Jazz Chisholm of the Yankees. That's your home run derby. No Ohtani, no Alonso,
No Judge.
no Judge. Thank goodness for Cal Raleigh. Seriously. So, remember last week we wondered, is this slowly becoming the slam dunk contest? Where in the early days of the slam dunk contest, all the big boys, Irving, Dominique, Jordan, they were all in it. And now, I mean, when's the last time LeBron, some of the other stars of the
When's the
NBA?
last time an all-star
Right.
participated in the slam dunk contest? That's what we're getting into in baseball. David, you're right. It jumped the shark. American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow & Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow & Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow & Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
Whether you're chasing peak performance, reigniting intimacy, or simply want to feel your best, Game Day Men's Health creates customized game plans to optimize your health. Call 239-427-3441 for our Bonita Springs and Naples location to set up your free testosterone test and consultation. Mention Miller Moulton Radio Show for 10% off your service. Find your maximum self with Game Day Men's Health, Bonita Springs and Naples, Florida. Call 239-427-3441 today.
With summer approaching, time to take care of your own house. So stop into the Floor Meisters and see their huge in-stock selection of carpet. The Floor Meisters has 100 rolls to choose from, starting at $2.99 a square foot for carpet, pad, and installation. Come in and ask for Dave and have him show you the Dream Weaver Select. Many styles and colors to choose from to fit everyone's taste. Floor Meisters, 6281 Naples Boulevard in Naples, right next to Costco, or go to the web, floormeisters.com.
Wine glasses never fall over until you get a brand new rug.
Oh, no!
Ketchup bottles act normal till you're wearing a new shirt.
Oh, you kidding me?
And rocks slide peacefully on the road till the day you get a brand new windshield. Then they fly up off the road and attack without mercy. That's why new windshields from Glass Doctor come with our windshield protection plan. Unlimited repairs and one replacement for 12 months. Don't just fix it, protect it. Glass Doctor. A neighborly company.
This is Miller and Moulton.
For $1 million, DC? Do you really think Judge, Ohtani, Soto, and I'm being serious, maybe it is. Do you think $1 million is enough to get those guys who are making, $40 million a year to participate? And it may be. I'm not saying you're wrong, dude. Not at all. Paul, if you're in there, by the way, the Tigers in 84 got swept by Seattle, too. Just a little thing to make you happy. And how would they force them to do it, Irish, with the players' union?
The winner of the home run derby makes $1 million. The runner-up gets $500,000.
Runner-up gets $750,000. But neither here nor there. Then participating, you get...
Where'd you get that?
I just looked it up.
I know. I'm looking it up.
According to Fansided, according to a report from Fansided, I mean, this could be an incorrect report. The winner gets $1 million. The runner-up gets $750,000. The 6 remaining participants each get $150,000 with a $100,000 bonus awarded for the longest home run. Again, Irish, you've said that twice. How? How with the players' union are they going to make them do it?
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Matt Vincenzi, who covers golf for Sports Illustrated, with a focus lately on the LIV Tour. He just flew back from Spain. We'll talk to him coming up in a little more than 15 minutes' time. Tim McKone from the Sports Hub, 98.5 in Boston. Red Sox have won 10 in a row. Patriots opening up training camp this week with Mike Vrabel as head coach. Talk to Tim McKone about what's going on in Beantown. Before we get to the Air Advantage, coolest thing I've seen today. So do you think, because right now, and you and I have found, differing totals, but there's between 2.5 and 2.75 million that's apparently available in the home run derby. Winner gets $1 million. Okay. A runner-up, makes either 500 or 750. And then everybody else makes $150. And the longest home run makes 100 extra thousand. If they threw more money in the pile, do you think that would make a difference?
No. No, I think players are convinced that this is not good for them. I think players have determined that participating in the home run derby does not help their swing and does not help them for the second half of the season. Whether that's true or not doesn't matter anymore. But players have been convinced that that's the case. Their agents, more importantly, have been convinced then that's the case. And therefore, the best players are not doing it. You talked about you've always compared this to the dunk contest, and you're going back, a generation easy in the dunk contest. but it was all-stars that were in the dunk contest. Even when, Larry Nance was one of the best dunkers ever. He was a really good player. Now it's guys who can just dunk. And unfortunately in baseball, typically the guys that hit the most home runs are all-stars. So you're not pulling out of a pool of guys that aren't in the game. They just have opted not to do it.
I didn't bring this up earlier. This could have also been a poll question. Maybe we'll do it tomorrow when the actual All-Star game takes place. But listen, there's a lot of guys who were named to the All-Star team and who have backed out for one reason or another. Pitchers back out for a variety of reasons. First off, if you're pitching Sunday leading into the game, you back out because you're ineligible to pitch. Very few pitchers who pitch on Sunday make themselves available to throw an inning in the All-Star game. So all those guys get taken out of the mix. But then you got guys who are nursing injuries. Max Fried with a blister. He took himself out. They threw someone else in. Did you see who one of the replacements was in the National League?
I did, and I was going to bring that up during this segment. I'm glad you're talking about the kid from Minnesota, or from Milwaukee, rather, right?
Correct.
The kid who's had 5 starts. He's been phenomenal. Outpitched Skeens in a game against the Pirates, and he was named, despite only having 5 starts this year, to the All-Star team.
Right. And let me tell you, are a whole bunch of pitchers in the National League been out of shape?
Well, not just pitchers. There's a whole bunch of Philadelphia Phillies.
Yes, well.
The pitchers. Trey Turner called it a joke. Called the All-Star game a joke. Yes. Nick Castellanos compared it to the Savannah Bananas. It's the show over substance. And, Nick, I'll give it to you because you've hit some of the more memorable home runs in baseball history only because something horrible is going on and they keep playing baseball and you come up to the plate and knock it out of the park. But it's a TV show, man. I don't know what to tell you.
23-year-old Jacob Mizorowski, 5 starts, 4 have been terrific. 1 he got, banged around pretty good. He's 4-1 with a 2.81 ERA. Okay. His average fastball is 99 miles an hour. He has thrown in 5 starts nearly 100 pitches over 100 miles an hour. And baseball's like, hey, he's young, he's exciting, he's in. And there's 3 Phillies pitchers who all deserve an all-star bid based on normal criteria who were all left out of the game. I'll give the Phillies credit for this. One of the guys, Mark, actually has a $50,000 all-star bonus in his contract. So this cost him $50,000, and the Phillies said, we'll write you the check. You should
Christopher Sanchez is the pitcher you're talking about. Now, I will let you know that JT Realmuto noted that Sanchez and Suarez were offered roster spots only if they agreed to pitch an inning. Suarez opted out, preferring rest, to David's earlier point.
And see, what these guys want is they wanted to have their cake and eat it too. They wanted to be named to the All-Star game and then back out, kind of like the Pro Bowl when they actually played a Pro Bowl. Remember? Okay, you make the Pro Bowl. Most everybody who makes the Pro Bowl opts out, and then we have 40 more Pro Bowlers because, well, somebody's got to play in the game. So that's what some of these guys wanted. They wanted to be named to the All-Star team because they've pitched the whole half season, and they deserve it, not this kid who's had 5 starts. And Major League Baseball said, you know what? The kid wants to pitch. He's exciting. Okay, kid's in. Suck it up and deal.
Absolutely. Time now for the coolest thing I've seen today, and it's brought to you by Air Advantage. 239-433-4635. That's 433-4635. Online, myairadvantage.com. Myairadvantage.com. It's something that David brought up during the starting 5, and if you haven't seen it, it is worth going to X, YouTube, wherever you get your highlights, and watch what Grace Kim did at the Avion Championship. She finished on her 18th hole with an eagle to force a playoff. She then chipped in for birdie on her first playoff hole to make the playoff continue with her playing partner on the green putting for eagle. She holed a chip shot from about 50 yards to make birdie and then force a third hole in which she would eagle the 18th. They played the same hole all three times, the 72nd hole of their tournament. It was the playoff hole each time. She went eagle, birdie, eagle to win. I don't know if it gets much better than that, and that's the coolest thing I've seen today. And it's brought to you by Air Advantage, myaradvantage.com, myaradvantage.com. Be sure to tell them that you heard about them through Miller and Moulton.
By the way, you have to be a bit of a golfing goober, but there's a few people listening to the show that are, including the two hosts. Remember the amateur who last week won the Irish Open on the LPGA Tour, and she won it by like 4 or 5 strokes? She shot like a final round 64 yesterday, missed the playoff by a stroke.
Right.
She's a junior or senior at Florida State. She's an amateur. She did what Tiger did. Remember, Tiger played the abbreviated schedule after winning the U.S. Amateur in 96 and did so well that he earned his tour card? She's already earned her LPGA tour card. By the way, she had the option of no longer being an amateur. She's gone first in T3 the last 2 weeks, and she's remained an amateur. And now she's going to decide whether or not she's going to join the LPGA Tour right away, or is she going to wait and just join it next year in its entirety? I think Hoad, Hoad, but she just played at Florida State for a few years. She's English. Just go see her with the U.S. The Solheim Cup just got harder. I'll tell you that. But anyway, it's interesting. You know, we had the amateur finish on the leaderboard a couple of weeks ago on a PGA Tour event. Hell, yesterday there was an amateur who finished on the leaderboard in the PGA Tour event. So, Mark, this just in. They're getting better younger.
For over 50 years, the Nolan family has been dedicated to protecting local families. Nolan Family Insurance is a second-generation independent agency that specializes in home, flood, auto, and boat insurance. They take the time needed to explain your coverage options and answer your questions so you can make an informed decision that's right for you. If you're looking for an agency that treats you like family, call 941-639-1122 or go to nolanagency.com. That's 941-639-1122 or nolanagency.com.
Wine glasses never fall over until you get a brand new rug.
Oh, no!
Ketchup bottles act normal till you're wearing a new shirt.
Oh, you kidding me?
And rocks lie peacefully on the road till the day you get a brand new windshield. Then they fly up off the road and attack without mercy. That's why new windshields from Glass Doctor come with our windshield protection plan. Unlimited repairs and one replacement for 12 months. Don't just fix it, protect it. Glass Doctor. A neighborly company.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound. American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow & Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow & Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow & Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Irish, I get what you're saying, but they have this thing called a collective bargaining agreement. You can't just make arbitrary rules and force players to do that. You seem to think you're king and can wave this wand and they'll make these changes. It doesn't work that way. You've said 3 times, well, just make them do it. It just doesn't work that way. I know in your world it does, dude, but that's just not how it works. So I don't know really what your point is. Don't get paid what? Irish, come on, dude, you give up. You're just now, you're czar of the sports world. I truly get it. You're smarter than all of us. We know, but it just doesn't work that way. In your world, it might. It doesn't in any other.
I mean, think about it. The players can opt out of being in the All-Star game. So, of course, they can opt out of being in the Home Run Derby.
Well, that's not, yeah, he does, but that's just ignorant. That's all. I mean, that's not pushing anything for me. It's just he's made the same claim 5 different times the exact same way. It's just whatever. He's on, and you're right, Ed. There's no doubt. He lives for it, but I've by and large ignored him. But this is just a waste of time. They have to do it, or we're gonna fight him. Whatever.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
22 minutes before the hour. Tim McKone from the Sports Hub 98.5 in Boston will join us at the top of the hour. The Red Sox having won 10 in a row. Patriots training camp days away from starting. We'll talk to Tim coming up in about 20 minutes' time. But it is Open Championship week, and we talk a lot of golf on this show. And we're thrilled to welcome back Matt Vincenzi, who covers golf for Sports Illustrated with a focus on the LIV Tour these days. You can follow Matt on X at Matt Vincenzi PGA, Matt Vincenzi, Vincenzi PGA. Matt, it's David and Mark. Thanks so much for doing this. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. I'm currently at the airport, so sorry if there's some excess noise behind me, but I'm happy to do it.
No, that's fine. Are you coming or going?
I'm coming back from Spain. I was at Valderrama for Live Andalusia.
Well, we're aware of that, and obviously Taylor Gooch with the win. Rahm, hard-charging, finished second. Before we get to some of the individuals on the tour, can you just tell us, how is the tour these days? Okay, there's the mainstream media is painting the picture that LIV had their moment. They forced changes in the sport. That moment is now gone. The PGA Tour doesn't need it, and I don't know what's going to become of LIV. But you're there on the ground. How are things going?
I think it's going really well. I mean, especially internationally. A lot of these countries don't get to see the best players in the world come, and all these big stars come, like Bryson, where you go out there and you see a million Crushers hats in Spain. The Fireballs with Sergio and John Rahm playing in front of their home crowd. So, if you just tune out the national media and kind of listen to what you hear when you're on the ground, you wouldn't think that all that negative stuff even really existed. So I think it's definitely going well. In Dallas, they were sold out. A lot of the Bryson fans were in Dallas too. So, I think that's part of a narrative that's being driven. But from my perspective, I don't see that as the case.
All right. What do you think it would take for the LIV Tour to take more of a foothold in the States? And you mentioned they're selling out events. I think it's where they place the events. How do they move the needle television-wise, or can they?
Well, I think it's part of it is, being on in prime time, which, is tough on Fox. You want to get into that prime time hour and have the regular Fox channel. If you look at the difference between when it's Fox or FS1, there's a big difference when the regular Fox channel in terms of viewership. So I think getting those primetime slots, and which I think will come with time. I also think it's going to more golf-starved communities. A lot of states that don't see a lot of golf at the top level. Like they went to Nashville last year, was a really successful event because they don't get to see too many professional golfers. So I think that's part of it. I also think, to an extent, it's not quite as important as people think it is. The mainstream linear TV numbers are just one piece of the puzzle, especially when, 9 of the 14 events next season are going to be outside of the United States. So I think, not to mention the streaming numbers that really aren't accounted for. So I don't know how true that narrative is.
Rahm was terrific at the PGA. Scheffler was just better around the greens, but I don't know if anybody was better tee to green than Rahm. He shot 65 yesterday. Is John Rahm ready again to win a major?
Absolutely. I think he is the guy to beat this week. I have him winning. This is probably the most confident I've felt going into a major about a pick that I've had. I feel extremely confident that he'll have a chance to win. Now, at the Open, that can be dictated by weather. Even last year, he got the bad side of the draw at the Open, and he ended up still finishing T7. But no one from that side really contended besides, I think, one player, Billy Horschel. But if, he doesn't get completely thrown out of whack on the draw, I think he's the guy to beat. Great links performer, has won 2 Irish Opens, 2017 and 2019. The one in 2019 was at La Hinch, which, in my opinion, is a pretty comparable course to Royal Portrush. He's been good. He's one of 2 LIV players to make the cut in all 3 majors so far this year, him and Tyrrell Hatton, who also probably has a pretty good chance as well, although he's not quite in the form right now as Rahm is. What Rahm did at Valderrama was perfect. He hit the ball great. He got in the mix without having to win, which sometimes is hard to win back-to-back weeks. So I think, everything that could have gone well for him has gone well leading into the Open.
Which LIV golfer not named John Rahm then has the best shot to win the Open this week?
I think it's Tyrrell Hatton in terms of just the best shot. But I also think Brooks Koepka, who I've personally counted out the first 2 majors, I'm not counting out in this one, simply because he was T4 here in 2019. His caddy, Ricky Elliott, grew up in Portrush, and this is his home course. He said he's played the course over 1,000 times, and he guided him around there in 2019 to that T4 finish. So I don't think you can discount him. We know he's the major hunter. We know he gears up for these events. He got progressively better last week at Valderrama. Still didn't finish great, but he played better in each of the 3 rounds. So I wouldn't completely rule him out. Also, long shots, I like Lucas Herbert. I think he's a good links player. He's won an Irish Open. And Tom McKibben's hot. Back-to-back T5 finishes. He grew up playing on the same course Rory McIlroy did in Northern Ireland at Hollywood. So he's a young player. He's only 22 to look out for as well.
Matt Vincenzi covers golf for a living, Sports Illustrated, LIV. Follow him on X at Matt Vincenzi, Vincenzi, PGA. Matt Vincenzi, PGA. All right. Is DJ done? Is he cooked? He's right around the big 40. I mean, he's played a lot of top golf for a long time. Do you think there's more to DJ left in the tank?
I don't think he's cooked. I mean, does that mean he wins another major again? I don't know. That I think, it wouldn't be too out of the realm of possibility to say he doesn't. I think he'll contend again at some point. I think one misconception is he doesn't work that hard, because I've been in every event, and he's usually one of the first guys on the range and the last guys to leave. So he's practicing hard. He's also put together a lot of good rounds. Last week at Valderrama, he had the round of the week on Saturday. Shot 7 under on a day when the scoring average was over par. So he still has those low rounds in him. The problem is consistency. He hasn't been able to string the 3 rounds together quite yet. So I think he's close, and I think he's trying to find it. But you're right. He is 41 years old. The best days are behind him, but it doesn't mean he can't be good one time or another.
What's it going to take for Rory to win this week? He obviously played good in the Scottish, came up a couple of shots short. I know he'd rather trade that for a British any day of the week. But what's it going to take with the added pressure of where the tournament is and all of the pressure he has at every British Open for him to get it done this week?
It's going to take a hot start. We've seen a lot of times in majors for Rory when he's started poorly, just like at Portrush last time. He has a hard time recovering. If he starts off well, especially at this place where he played so poorly on Thursday in 2019, with all the pressure from the home crowd, he needs to get off to a good start. With that being said, I think people talk about pressure of the Masters. I think playing in a home Open has even more pressure for him. I think he's dangerous. I think he's more dangerous than Scottie Scheffler. But people might think I'm crazy for this. I would put Rahm over both Scheffler and Rory this week. Scheffler doesn't have the links form or links experience, and I think he's more of a straightaway golfer, more so than a creative shot maker that's required. So Rory does have a chance, but I still think the pressure might be a bit too much for him this week.
What is Portrush like? Okay, if we've never watched an Open at Portrush, is there a course overseas or anywhere that is similar to Royal Portrush?
It's definitely a classic links layout. The one difference I would say between Portrush and other links courses is that there are elevation changes where a lot of these open rotation courses are straight away. Portrush, and the difficulty is going to be highly dependent on the wind. We saw when Lowry won in 2019, the wind wasn't much of a factor, especially over the weekend. So he got to a pretty low score, the high teens under par. If it's windy and rainy, which I think the forecast says it's going to be, it's going to be much harder. So it's going to be about shot making, keeping the ball low. You want players with low ball flights, not extremely high ball flights, which I think is another reason why Rory may have struggled here. He hits the ball really high. But yeah, it's a beautiful course. You'll see that the long test you got to drive it straight. You got to keep the ball low. You got to shot shape from left to right and right to left, and you got to be creative.
With that low ball flight that you talked about and such spot on because Rory's such a high ball hitter, who are some of the guys maybe we're not thinking about? You've done pretty well in picking winners. I know you have Rahm, but who are a couple other guys you may have your eye on because of the style that you're going to have to play this week?
I think Victor Hovland has a really good chance. I think he's been hitting the ball really, really well lately, just hasn't been able to putt. But I think getting him on these slower greens will be helpful. He does have the tendency to pop up in these majors and play well. The finishes might not seem like he's in great form, but he's striking the ball really well. He was first in approach last week at the Scottish Open. So I think he has a chance. I also like Jason Day this week. I kind of have a gut feeling he might contend. You typically see some veterans in the mix at Opens. I think Day could be that guy this week. I also think Sergio Garcia showed some life last week at Valderrama. Was great off the tee, second off the tee behind Joaquin Niemann, who also has a low ball flight, but he obviously carries those question marks in majors right now and needs to prove himself. So those are some names I think can contend.
With the low ball flight likely needed, does that just push Bryson to the side? He even said, I didn't hit the shots necessary when I needed to at the PGA, and he struggled when he got the ball up in the wind. Is he ready to contend at an Open?
No, I don't believe so right now. I think there are some Opens where he may be able to contend at. Like I think St. Andrews is a place he can win if he's going to win an Open because it's really bomber friendly. Whereas a place like this, I don't think he's the type of shot maker that's going to thrive here. I think, I would never say he can't because he's so talented, but there's no real reason for me to say this is the one he contends at, especially he's coming off a 30th place finish at Valderrama. I just don't think this is the right test for him.
All right, I'm curious, since you're covering Live Golf and you've covered the PGA, we all know how it's better for the players and the caddies on Live, the way they're treated. From a media standpoint, just personally, how much different is covering a Live event than a PGA event?
I love it. I definitely prefer it. You're treated very well. It's kind of a family-oriented vibe. Like, when you're on Live, everyone kind of looks out for each other. I think it's probably that complex of being ostracized in a way at the beginning and all that negative talk that the players, caddies, media, everyone who's there kind of sticks together. And I think it's a really, really great environment to cover golf.
Matt, thanks for making time for us, particularly in line at the airport. Safe travels, and hopefully we can talk again.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Matt Vincenzi, Sports Illustrated, covering LIV these days a lot. Follow him on X at Matt Vincenzi, Vincenzi PGA. Matt Vincenzi, PGA.
John Rahm.
That's his pick.
I know you would love that. You're a Rahm guy.
I am.
I'm not going to argue with someone who covers golf every day. I do think Scheffler showed, particularly at the Masters, his ability to get up and down and his chipping. And I think that's improved vastly. I don't know about the shot-making part, but when he gets around the green, I think he's incredibly creative, and I think you have to be to win a British Open.
Did you catch Scheffler right before the Scottish Open? He was just asked, the difference in the course. I think it was right before the tournament started. Maybe it was after round one. It's probably the most laid back and forthcoming I've ever heard Scheffler. But he all but said, Mark, he didn't go this far, but he all but said, I find this golf interesting. And the golf we play, he didn't say, I find the golf we play back in the States boring. He just said, most of what we play back in the States is basically target golf. But he just raved about how interesting he found playing overseas and those courses. And I thought to myself, I'll be darned. Would it lead you to play more? Because when you're as successful as him and you've made the money that he's made, do you start picking some courses? Just because I find this interesting. Honey, what do you say we go to Europe for 3 weeks? I'll play 2 tournaments. What do you say?
I think in theory it sounds great, but now that they have to play the elevated events, and they have to play them, you can only miss one, then the majors he's obviously going to play in. I don't know how interested Scottie Scheffler is into playing much more golf than that. I don't know why he should be.
I'm with you. Think about it. Tiger liked to play between 15 and no more than 18 events a year.
And it was the same events, David. That's the thing. It's the one thing I've learned from having met one PGA Tour guy. Once these guys figure out what courses they like, they don't deviate. Now they deviate because of the signature events. But They don't deviate the courses they play. I like this course. I don't like this course. It doesn't fit my eye. So I'm not going to play there.
So you got 4 majors in the PGA, and then you have 7 of the 8 elevated that you have to play in. So there's 12. Well, these guys don't want to play more than 18. There's 12 right there that are picked for them. Never mind if they're defending champions somewhere they have to play. Scheffler ran into that a couple times this year, in which he was playing 3 weeks in a row.
And they all like to play the Scottish a week before the British.
Right.
To get used to that type of course. So in theory, it sounds wonderful, David. It does. But I don't see a guy who's such a family man and already has to play in a certain number of events in a year, every year, saying, I'm going to go to Europe for 2 weeks. European Tour would love it.
With summer approaching, time to take care of your own house. So stop into the Floor Meisters and see their huge in-stock selection of carpet. The Floor Meisters has 100 rolls to choose from, starting at $2.99 a square foot for carpet, pad, and installation. Come in and ask for Dave and have him show you the Dream Weaver Select. Many styles and colors to choose from to fit everyone's taste. Floor Meisters, 6281 Naples Boulevard in Naples, right next to Costco, or go to the web, floormeisters.com.
Southwest Florida's scorching heat is on its way. Stay cool with Air Advantage. As a proud Rheem Pro partner, Air Advantage delivers top-notch air conditioning solutions to keep you cool and comfortable. Right now, enjoy 18 months, no interest, no payments on qualifying systems. Call 433-4 $46.35 today for expert installation and unbeatable comfort all summer long. Online at myairadvantage.com. Air Advantage. Call today, 433-4635.
Honey, you want to come out? I haven't seen you since Glass Doctor installed our custom shower enclosure.
No thanks.
Well, you can't keep eating breakfast in the shower, and laminating your magazines is getting expensive. You remember we have guests coming over tonight, right?
Oh, I'm sure they'd love to see the shower.
It's our neighbors, and I highly doubt they want to be hanging out in our bathroom.
The shower's so good, you'll never want to leave. Visit glassdoctor.com today and schedule an appointment online.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
Defining a new era in men's health. Get stronger and healthier at Game Day Men's Health. With our in-house laboratory, get in, get treated, and get back to your passion and purpose. Call 239-427-3441 for our Bonita Springs or Naples location to set up your free testosterone test and consultation. Mention Miller Moulton Radio Show for a 10% discount on your service. Start living your best with Game Day Men's Health, Bonita Springs and Naples. Call 239-427-3441 today.
For over 50 years, the Nolan family has been dedicated to protecting local families. Nolan Family Insurance is a second-generation independent agency that specializes in home, flood, auto, and boat insurance. They take the time needed to explain your coverage options and answer your questions so you can make an informed decision that's right for you. If you're looking for an agency that treats you like family, call 941-639-1122 or go to NolanAgency.com. That's 941-639-1122 or NolanAgency.com.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Who was it who asked? Was it Hatton? Is he in it? Yeah, Hatton's in it. I think I'm betting Europe right now to win the Ryder Cup.
When was that time that it was all tennis and racing?
I don't know how many NASCAR fans there are out there, but between Amazon and Turner,
All set.
because I think that whoever did Amazon is doing Turner. Good.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Halfway home on this Monday, 45 days away from the start of the college football season, that Thursday before Labor Day weekend. 52 nights from tonight, the Eagles will host the Cowboys. So the football magic numbers are 45 and 52. It's the All-Star break. It's Open Championship week. It's SEC Media Days. That's what we've got going on. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. And speaking of the All-Star break, you know who didn't want to see the All-Star break? The Boston Red Sox. They've won 10 in a row. Tim McKone covers them in the Boston sports scene for 98.5 The Sports Hub. He's part of the Zolak and Bertrand midday show. Tim, it's David and Mark. Thanks for your time. How are you?
Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
Where the heck did this come from? My goodness. Seriously, 10 in a row, pitching, hitting, despite injuries. Seriously, where did this come from?
Yeah, I think Craig Breslow was probably the only person that thought this was possible for the Boston Red Sox, because after they traded Rafael Devers, the team kind of went in the tank for a little bit, and I think a lot of the city sort of turned on this team because it felt like this was going to be sort of the last few years where you start out playing okay baseball, nothing special, and then you kind of go in the tank, and people don't have a baseball season by the time August rolls around. And really, it felt like it was trending in that direction. They go and they play, let's face it, they've won 10 in a row, and I think people are really excited after this last series because the first 6 were against the Nationals and the Rockies, right? 2 really terrible, terrible franchises. The Nationals fired their manager and their GM right after the series with the Boston Red Sox, and as we all know, the Rockies are playing historically bad baseball, but you did what you were supposed to do, and you beat up on both of those teams. They were not competitive games. Tampa Bay comes into Fenway, and that was sort of the litmus test. And to pull a sweep off of that team that you struggled against historically here over the last few years was sort of the eye-opener, and I think that's what's really energized the fan base here in Boston and says, you know what, we might actually have some baseball, some meaningful baseball here coming up in the summer.
Yeah, and the way they did it, 1-run games on Friday and Saturday, and then 4-1 yesterday, and obviously a decisive win yesterday after 2 really good games. But when you look at between now and the trade deadline, and there was some that thought the Red Sox may sell off another piece or two after the Devers trade and where things were, but now they're a playoff team. They're not sellers. What do they have to acquire between now and the 31st in your estimation?
I think it's going to be really interesting to see what Craig Breslow does here at the deadline, because you're right. They put themselves in a position, and look, just a couple of weeks ago, it was a question whether or not they were going to buy or whether they were going to sell. I think they're firmly going to buy, but what you might see here is sort of that classic baseball trade, because they do have a logjam when it comes to the outfield. They've got Cedar Rafaela, who certainly was the hero over the weekend and has been playing the best baseball of his career. You've got Roman Anthony up now, who was the number 1 prospect in baseball and is already, their number 3 hitter at this point. Then you've got Jarren Duran, who was an all-star last year, and Wilyer Abreu, who's a gold glove right fielder. And Masataka Yoshida just came back as well. So there aren't a lot of spots here for this. You have a lot of depth at the outfield position. I would expect either Abreu or more likely Jarren Duran to get dealt. And if he does, I would expect them to try to find another starting pitcher. Walker Buehler was a huge acquisition in terms of the 1-year, $20 million contract that they gave him. He has not lived up to what the expectations were. So you do need another starter and potentially here a first baseman. But if I had to guess, I think it's going to be Duran probably out the door and a starting pitcher coming back to Boston.
Now, I know they have a lot of injured pitching, but it's not expected back, I don't believe, this year. A couple of guys are expected back next year. So don't they have to pay the price? We all know what the price is to acquire even like a number 3 starter. Okay, do you think the Red Sox have to pay the price to get a quality starter?
Yeah, I do, and I think that the outfield situation is tough, too, because when you talk about trading a guy like Jarren Duran, who does have some value, I think a lot of other teams look at the situation, and you sort of lose your leverage when they say, hey, you know what? You have to move one of these guys. So I think you're going to see them dip into the farm system. They have a historically great farm system right now, although a couple of those guys have graduated to the majors, and they're off the table. Marcelo Meyer and Roman Anthony certainly are untouchables when it comes to this franchise moving forward. They still do have depth, so I would expect that they are going to dip in. And more so than just kind of reinforcements for this year's team, which obviously is important because they are playing good baseball. This is a franchise really that's fallen behind in the Boston sports scene over the last 2 years. And it's a team that ran Boston sports for years and years and years. And obviously, the peak of that was sort of 2004 through 2007, where it was just absolute pandemonium. Since that time, and especially over the last few years when John Henry really hasn't invested in this team the way that he did in the past, they've fallen behind. And right now, with the Celtics taking a step back with a Jason Tatum injury, with the Patriots still trying to build back up here, it's an opportunity for the Red Sox to kind of to re-engage the fan base. And I think a big deadline here already on top of this 10-game win streak would really go a long way in terms of doing that.
Now, the teams, obviously, you said they've turned it around. Couple of bad teams in the race, 10 in a row, but it still seems like they haven't filled the hole that Devers left at DH. What are they going to do about the production in that spot? Do you think they need to go out and get someone, or you've already talked about the plenty of outfielders? Is it by rotation? How do they fill the void? Because they have lost hitting in that spot.
No, they have, and I think it's going to be really hard for them to replace a bat like Devers. I mean, that's one of the things that was frustrating for, I think, a lot of fans when you look at that, because you could say that certainly wasn't doing what was best for the team, but he was hitting 30 to 35 home runs, which is also a benefit for the team, and it's going to be hard to replace that. So I would expect the rotations at DH spot. Roman Anthony, again, I mentioned it before, was the number 1 prospect in baseball. He's come up. He looks already like a polished hitter. So I think that he's been sort of put into that Devers role. Is the production going to be there the way that it was with Devers? No, but I think they're going to kind of put this together by DH by committee moving forward, and that's what that's how they're going to try to do this.
Talking with Tim McKone, 98.5, the Sports Hub in Boston. Follow him on X at Tim_McKone, McKone. He's part of the Midday Zolak and Bertrand show on 98.5, the Sports Hub. Let's say they're unable or unwilling to pay the price to get an impact maker at the deadline. They can only improve around the edges. Can this team get the horse into the barn and make the playoffs? Right, the odd team out right now is the Rays. Now, we know what the Red Sox just did, but over the next 2.5 months, they've got about a 3-game lead on the Rays. Do you think this team, as presently constructed, makes the playoffs?
I think you're going to learn a lot over the next 2 weeks, guys. They have the All-Star break, which is nice, and the 10-game win streak, which is great. Then they have to take on, get ready for this, Cubs, Phillies, Dodgers, right out of the chute from the All-Star break. And so how that goes, I think, is going to determine sort of the way that this season plays out. Now, even if they go in the tank with those series, because, again, those are 3 really good teams they're going to be taking on right away, I still think they're going to be buyers, because I think this organization wants their young players in Roman Anthony and Marcelo Meyer to be playing meaningful baseball and sort of get those reps underneath them as well. I think they're going to be in the mix. They have enough talent. Garrett Crochet, the starting pitcher, the ace that they traded for from the White Sox and gave up a ton of assets for, has been better than advertised, which I think has certainly been a pleasant surprise. That has been a home run deal. They have a legitimate ace now. I think it's going to be hard for them to completely fall out of the picture. But again, I think in determining whether or not they're going to coast to a playoff spot or if they're really going to have to grind it out, you're going to find that out certainly in the next week or two with these games coming up against those National League juggernauts.
All right, let's move to the Patriots. Camp's about to open, and all eyes are on Drake May. What is a reasonable expectation for the second-year Patriot quarterback to make this feel like it was the right draft pick and things are going in the right direction?
Well, if you listen to the Zolak Bertrand show on 98.5 The Sports Hub, a lot of calls saying, 13 wins. The expectation.
Oh, my goodness, an overzealous Boston fan. What the hell's going on?
Hey, it's been some tough sledding for Patriots fans, so you got to cut them some slack since they've had a positive offseason. No, I think realistically people are looking at this and the program that Mike Vrabel has really put in place, and it feels like all of a sudden it's an organization that kind of has a direction, which they certainly did not have last year. I think a lot of people are hopeful that they can get back to that 8 or 9 win sort of level. And a lot of that, quite frankly, is going to come down to two things. It's going to come down to Mike Vrabel and the defense that he's sort of put together here, and then it's going to come down to, obviously, like you mentioned, Drake May and that marriage with Josh McDaniels. And the jump that Drake May can take. He only won one game last year. We understand it. The wins weren't there as a starting quarterback. If you watched him week in and week out, you certainly saw that talent. That's undeniable. I think that's a huge step in the right direction. It wasn't a Mac Jones situation, where Mac Jones certainly had a successful, rookie year in terms of wins, but the physical limitations were real, and it was obvious. There are no physical limitations when it comes to Drake May. So what Josh McDaniels is able to do with that is going to determine just how successful this team is. But make no mistake about it. The Mike Vrabel, Josh McDaniels tenure is going to be defined on how much they can get out of Drake May. Certainly the talent is there. Can they unlock it is going to be the real question.
Tim, we've got 30 seconds. Does he have enough weapons around him? I know they revamped the line, but does Drake May have enough weapons, or is that a year away?
I think that's a year away, right? So Stephon Diggs coming off a knee injury is going to be is probably going to be his number one option. Outside of that, you have some underachieving wide receivers or some young wide receivers, and you're going to need some other people. Pop Douglas is a name to watch there as a slot receiver, certainly with Josh McDaniels. But outside of that, I still think that they need to do more in terms of getting them weapons, but certainly it's a step in the right direction.
Tim, we appreciate you making time for us and your insight. Congratulations, all your success on 98.5 The Sports Hub, and camp next week. We know you'll have long days ahead. Good luck.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Tim McKone. Follow him on X at Tim_McKone, big M, little C, Kone. Tim McKone, part of 98.5 The Sports Hub, here on Miller and Moulton.
I'd have to look at their entire lineup on the Sports Hub, but I'm pretty sure that's the guy that I have a neighbor. I have two neighbors who listen to the show. There's about 400 odd houses in my neighborhood. And I know for the fact that there are two neighbors who listen to my show because they tell me about it. One older gentleman, super nice, just always, hi, never gets into that much substance. The other's a Boston guy.
Right.
And he stopped me coming out of the gym. I am covered in sweat, just dripping. And he says, hey, you should get on the show. I know you don't like Boston. And I'm pretty sure he said, get Tim McComb on this. That's who you need to get on the show. So maybe he'll be nicer to me today. Who knows? Miller and Moulton. For over 50 years, the Nolan family has been dedicated to protecting local families. Nolan Family Insurance is a second-generation independent agency that specializes in home, flood, auto, and boat insurance. They take the time needed to explain your coverage options and answer your questions so you can make an informed decision that's right for you. If you're looking for an agency that treats you like family, call 941-639-1122 or go to NolanAgency.com. That's 941-639-1122 or NolanAgency.com.
With summer approaching, time to take care of your own house. So stop into the Floormeisters and see their huge in-stock selection of carpet. The Floormeisters has 100 rolls to choose from, starting at $2.99 a square foot for carpet, pad, and installation. Come in and ask for Dave and have him show you the Dreamweaver Select. Many styles and colors to choose from to fit everyone's taste. Floormeisters, 6281 Naples Boulevard in Naples, right next to Costco, or go to the web, floormeisters.com.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Defining a new era in Men's Health. Get stronger and healthier at Game Day Men's Health. With our in-house laboratory, get in, get treated, and get back to your passion and purpose. Call 239-427-3441 for our Bonita Springs or Naples location to set up your free testosterone test and consultation. Mention Miller Moulton Radio Show for a 10% discount on your service. Start living your best with Game Day Men's Health, Bonita Springs and Naples. Call 239-427-3441 today.
This is Miller and Moulton.
I will say I'm a glutton for punishment. After a week vacation with my mom with me the whole time, and I love my mother, but come on, a week of mom is a bit much sometimes. I'm chasing that with a week of no moms, with mother-in-law arriving in town today for a week. That'll be 2 of the last 3 weeks I've spent in the same home with first my mother and then my mother-in-law. Hi, ay, ay. Although it was a lot easier with Mom yesterday since the wine fridge broke and I had to pour good wine. Mom was very happy to be drinking some of my most expensive bottles yesterday. God, did that stink. Got that right, Panda. Might just be a bourbon week. You never know. I love your Mets draft that kid, and all the stories are about him doing the fake line of cocaine after getting a triple. That seems to be the only thing relevant in this young man's career.
Exactly. Apparently, he's done nothing but hit the cover off the ball for the last 3 years, but it doesn't matter.
Right.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Did we go with the 2 poll questions today?
We only went with the 1. I was thinking of adding the grilled cheese poll question here.
You mean the mac and cheese?
Or mac and cheese question. It's National Mac and Cheese Day. Apparently, mac and cheese, the oldest known recipe for mac and cheese, is included in the English cookbook Form of Curry from the 1300s. The first published recipe in the U.S. was the Virginia Housewife Cookbook in 1824, but it's Kraft that is responsible for the popularity of the dish when they introduced boxed macaroni and cheese in 1937. In fact, even Crayola got in on the mix. Back in 93, they had a macaroni and cheese colored crayon.
Huh. I did not know that. By the way, there were some who recommended that if we went with the mac and cheese question, that we somehow include Velveeta.
Again, it's going to be boxed or homemade. I'm not going to say Kraft, Velveeta, your mom's homemade, your Aunt Liz's homemade. I don't give a damn. It's either boxed or homemade. If you like Velveeta more than Kraft, then vote for boxed. If you like homemade, if you like, Aunt Lily's better than your grandmama's, then vote for homemade.
Wow. 2 favorite aunts there, Liz and Lily. Okay, I appreciate that.
Big on alliteration on this show. David, you were mentioning the home run derby earlier in the show.
Uh-huh.
And trying to get people to guess what teams these players who are participating in the home run derby play for.
Right.
But did you know, and these are, 2 of these, one we know because he's a Ray, Junior Camarino, but there are 3 players who, if they win the home run derby, will more than double their salary from this year. O'Neal Cruz from the Pirates.
Right, he's the Pirates. Okay, Skeens, I heard an interview with Skeens. This is my pick, by the way, to win home run derby, O'Neal Cruz. Skeens says he's the most impressive batting practice player in all of baseball. He said he hits baseballs in places that I haven't seen Ohtani, Judge, Alonso, you name it, that O'Neal Cruz, he goes, don't know how he'll do in a competition like this, but so just throwing that out there. Apparently this kid hits him a long way.
Well, Cruz and James Wood from the Nats and Junior Camarino are all making between $750,000 and $800,000 a year.
They're rookies.
Right. You get $1 million for winning.
There you go.
For the record, David Sampson, who will be on the show tomorrow, is picking James Wood from the Nats. I just saw a post he put up because I know his show either has begun or is about to be. I don't know what the hell he's doing. I think he's working.
It began at 7. It's got about 20 minutes left. But they air it on FanDuel, and they air it just an hour later, though, which throws everything off.
So the mac and cheese question is up. Homemade or boxed on National Mac and Cheese Day. Our other poll question is because the American woman who lost in the final at Wimbledon was goose-egged. Bagel, 6060. David wants to know, would you rather lose in the final 6060 or get beat in the semis? Right now, 75% of you would rather get to the finals. That's what side I am on. David would not want the embarrassment of getting the double goose egg. He said he would rather lose in the semis. For the record, it's $1 million more to lose in the finals, but I don't even care about the money. I want the plate. And I truly believe having fun with the plate thing. But I've been thinking about this since Wimbledon started. Just how damn hard it is on that tour to get to the final. You know, if you're a golfer, you don't have to, you don't have to win other than match play. You don't have to win 5 matches to get to the final. You can have a great Saturday, Sunday. You can just make the cut, have a great Saturday, Sunday, and finish T2.
It's funny you say that. The kid who won the alternate event on the PGA Tour this week, which was in Louisville, he shot a 9 under 61 yesterday. All right. He had made the cut in 8 of 17 tournaments. He was in danger of losing his card, and he was like 7 shots off the lead when the day began. Barely made the cut, goes out, plays the round of his life, wins a PGA tournament. Obviously, now he gets the 2-year exemption and some of the goodies that come with it.
So I just, the more I think about how tough it is, not just mentally to play tennis, but the physical part. I mean, it's a hard sport. Those guys are really good athletes. They're extremely fast. You see the ground that they cover in such a short period of time. These guys work hard, and they lose damn near every week.
And Amanda Anisimova, she's got a great story. Okay, her parents were Russian. They came to the States. She was born in America. She was born in Jersey. At a young age, they moved to Florida. All right. She took a break from the tour. She had some early success as a teen. The tour and the pressure got to her. She took a break. Mark, she didn't even qualify for Wimbledon last year. Could not qualify for Wimbledon. A year later, she's on center court in front of the future queen in the final. And she fell apart. I mean, fell apart. And it was embarrassing. It was humiliating. 6-love. Only the 3rd time in a Grand Slam final that a player has been beaten 6-love. Steffi did it to Zareva in 88, and somebody did it to someone in 1911. That's it. It was humiliating. She was in tears afterwards. And her mom never gets to see her play in person. Her mom flew in for the final, and she gets double bageled. Yeah, count me out. I don't want any part of the double bagel.
And I just think the accomplishment to get to a final in that sport, particularly in a major, is just hard.
Agreed.
Hard.
And I will say, when you point out the $1 million difference, a lot of us go, I can put up with a lot of humiliation for $1 million. I do just want to point this out.
Which, we can put up with a lot of humiliation for a lot less. Miller and Moulton is in need of sponsors. Text us at 21,000, and you can humiliate us as much as you would like if the price is right. Hell, I'll let you come on the show every damn day and tell a joke about me. It's that simple, but the sponsorship level's got to be worthy of it.
In fact, we'll let your commercials be about just how humiliatingly bad we are. Okay, we're fine with it just as long as the price is right. But $1 million more to be humiliated. 6-Love, 6-Love. By the way, that goes in the history books, you know. That can't be erased. That's a forever thing. She's 23 years old. Hopefully she lives a long and awesome, healthy life. 6-Love, 6-Love in the Wimbledon final.
But think of all the good players, David.
I know.
That have played their entire career and never made it to a final.
No, there are Hall of Famers who have never made the finals of Wimbledon. Hall of Famers, women, female Hall of Famer. Pam Shriver's in the Hall of Fame, which she shouldn't be, okay? But she never made the finals of Wimbledon. Made the finals of the U.S. Open, didn't make the finals of Wimbledon. Now, she did in doubles. I mean, she was playing with Martina. I mean, you know, the answer to the trivia question, what's the best doubles team in the world? Martina and whoever she wants to play with. You know, there you go.
So I get where you're coming from. I get you're part of the history books on the negative side of things. I'm okay with that, particularly in that sport. That Mark Miller, the David Moulton, Miller_Moulton on X. And then because it's National Mac and Cheese Day, which do you prefer, boxed or homemade? Homemade with a strong early lead. I am hoping that this is about a 90-10 vote. Thanks for listening, Miller and Moulton.
Whether you're chasing peak performance, reigniting intimacy, or simply want to feel your best, Game Men's Health creates customized game plans to optimize your health. Call 239-427-3441 for our Bonita Springs and Naples location to set up your free testosterone test and consultation. Mention Miller Moulton Radio Show for 10% off your service. Find your maximum self with Game Day Men's Health, Bonita Springs and Naples, Florida. Call 239-427-3441 today.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
With summer approaching, time to take care of your own house. So stop into the Floor Meisters and see their huge in-stock selection of carpet. The Floor Meisters has 100 rolls to choose from, starting at $2.99 a square foot for carpet, pad, and installation. Come in and ask for Dave and have him show you the Dream Weaver Select. Many styles and colors to choose from to fit everyone's taste. Floor Meisters, 6281 Naples Boulevard in Naples, right next to Costco, or go to the web, floormeisters.com.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine, no more snoring, no more tossing, no more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
This is Miller and Moulton.
You know, David, since I know you do it too, what I find fascinating is I text myself probably 3 times every day. You know, stories, whatever, about 3 times.
I do it too.
I have to type in first off, if I try to type my first name, I got to get to MILL before my own name even pops up. Because think about the Millers I have in my phone.
Sure.
But if I go Miller, it pops up second. I have to go back last name first. I get a kick out of it. I can't. What's the tennis player? Is it? It's not Kyprios, but it starts with a K. He posted on X right after Skinner won and asked.
No, it wasn't Kyprios.
It's Kyprios, yeah.
Nick Kyprios.
Yeah.
I thought it was a great post.
I didn't realize that Sinner had all of the PED allegations and troubles.
Well, here's the other thing. First off, two different.
I now know, yeah.
Okay. Also, they let him play in the Australian. He wins it. Then they serve the suspension February through May. So he doesn't miss the Australian and he doesn't miss the French. Boy, you really hurt him. He couldn't go to what? Indian Wells? Boy, it really made him pay. Give me a break. He seems like a great guy. I mean, I will say he's very gentlemanly, and by the way, Alcaraz was all class.
He's a showman too.
Yes.
I mean, Alcaraz likes to get the crowd involved. He has a little WWE in him, dare I say, with the doing almost the Hulkster, putting his hand up to his ear stuff. He have to admit, I'm not a huge Butchergross fan. Love how much he loves hockey, just not my guy. But his little trip to Ireland looked like a hell of a trip.
Oh, really?
He just went on a golf trip and
Charlie Reimer did too, with like him and 12 family members. They spent 10 days over there. It looked like a blast on X. I got something here.
So do I, but go ahead.
ESPN's come out with a list. Much better than the last list you unveiled.
It's two of the best segments this show's ever had. Ever. I think if Casio were to break it down, he'd say the OJ Manager 1, those two segments 2 and 3.
OJ Manager, what a mistake that was.
I've never been that upset.
No, you never have.
Did I get up and walk out? Not during it, but right after, with the guy in the room. I just got up and left.
And you didn't speak during it. You didn't speak. While sitting there the whole time. You looked at me like, hey, you relented to this, not me.
And I just stared at John the entire time.
Yep.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes until the top of the hour. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Not one, but two poll questions. The young American.
You're getting your ass kicked in both of these poll questions.
I am. That's fine. That's fine. For whatever reason, I feel I can take it today. It's not bothering me the way it usually does.
Good.
To not be in cahoots with our show. Whatever. So the young American Amanda Anisimova, she got double bageled. 6-love in the Wimbledon final. Only the third time it's ever happened. It's humiliating. It's embarrassing. So I said, listen, would you rather make the final and get historically humiliated? Or would you rather go, I'll lose in the semis. That's okay. I'm good. And Mark said, give me the final. A, it's the final. B, you get a lovely plate. And you do. Okay, it's the best second place trophy, I think, in sports.
I agree with that.
Is the Wimbledon plate they give the runner-ups.
Silver medal, may be better. But outside of an Olympic medal, I would say in a non-Olympic event, it's the best runner-up trophy.
And Mark did point out you make $1 million more for making the final than the semis. But Mark even said, hey, even if the money was even, I'd rather make the final. I wouldn't. Historically embarrassed? No, I'm good. I lost 6-4 in the deciding set in the semis. Played my heart out. Had a great tournament. Next. And then it's National Mac and Cheese Day. And so boxed or homemade? And my answer is boxed for this reason. Nobody makes homemade mac and cheese.
Really?
Be honest. Be honest.
Really?
Come on. Yeah.
David, I have made homemade mac and cheese at least, and I'm not joking, at least 50 times since the last time I made a box of chemical pasta.
You're it then.
That's not true. That's not true.
I have never been over someone's house in which the mac and cheese that they served wasn't Kraft. I'm just telling you. Okay. Now, maybe it shows the people that I'm hanging out with, but just my world, there's only one kind of mac and cheese. It's boxed. The rest, please. The rest, you go to a restaurant and they put on a plate.
That's lunacy. It is sheer lunacy.
Anyway, those are our poll questions. Hey, listen, the last list you threw at me was about fast food. So I'm going to throw one at you. It's about NFL quarterbacks. You ready?
Okay.
Listen, take it for what it's worth, but ESPN does this right before every training camp. They poll as many different coaches, executives, and scouts as they can get to respond to them. And apparently this year they got over 70 coaches, executives, and scouts in the NFL to respond. And they asked them all the same question. Who are the top 10 players at every position? There's 11 different positions, okay? Top 10. And all ESPN does is add it up. For the record, 60% of the respondents said the top quarterback was Mahomes. The other 40% was made up of 3 guys, and we all know who they are. Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson. Apparently in that order. So that's your top 4. Okay. Who do you think was 5th?
Wow.
This is over 70 current NFL coaches, executives, and scouts. Who do you think they voted 5?
Justin Herbert.
7th. Jaden Daniels.
Damn it. And I almost did it. And I'm like, no way they put a guy who's just played 1 year up that high. It was in my head. I didn't have the guts to say it. What a moron.
First off, every single person who responded had him in their top 10. There wasn't one voter who didn't have him in the top 10. Matthew Stafford, 6th. Justin Herbert, 7th. Jared Goff, 8th. Jalen Hurts, 9th. Care to guess number 10?
Bo Nix.
No.
It was an inside joke. Sorry, I couldn't help myself there.
But
Dak?
No, and he was in the top 10 last year. All right. Your guy. Your guy, your team, your guy.
Baker?
Baker Mayfield.
Mr. Shotgun a beer in Tahoe, Baker Mayfield?
Baker
Did you
Mayfield.
see the videos of Baker swilling beers at the celebrity tournament in Tahoe?
Was that the American Century or whatever
Yeah,
it is?
did it with some Browns fans that were there that are still bitter. It was awesome.
So apparently there were 2 others who got numerous top 10 votes who just finished outside of the top 10. C.J. Stroud, who was in the top 10 after his rookie year. I believe last year he was 7th. And Jordan Love. Now, there are 6 quarterbacks who received at least one top 10 vote, but didn't come close to finishing in the top 10.
Okay.
For the first time, and this is the 6th year in a row, I guess ESPN has done this, where they've asked as many people as they can to respond. This is the first time in the 6 years that Aaron Rodgers is not in the top 10. He's one of the 6 who, oh, by the way, got at least one vote, top 10 vote. Kyler Murray, Brock Purdy, Dak Prescott, Tua, and Bo Nix. Here's what I find interesting about this. Do we want to start looking up how much Kyler Murray, Brock Purdy, Dak Prescott, Tua are making annually? And these are NFL people. This isn't Miller and Moulton. This isn't our audience, which, we love you guys and gals. We do. But this isn't us voting. These are coaches, scouts, and executives in the NFL. And Kyler Murray's making what, 46? Purdy's now 50 plus. Now it doesn't kick in for another year, but he signed for 53, something like that?
Yep.
Dak is the highest paid guy in the league at 60. Tua, he's like what, 52?
He's
something
over
like
50,
that?
right?
Right. Yep, there you go. And according to this, these guys are all ranked somewhere between 13 and 18. And, Aaron's only making $13 million this year, and Bo Nix is on his rookie deal. Oh, by the way, not a single vote for Trevor Lawrence. And he's a year away from that double nickel kicking in annually.
Oh, by the way, the top 4 on the list all have the best odds to win the Super Bowl. The Ravens, Eagles, and Bills are all at plus 700, while the Chiefs are at plus 800.
So Herbert at 7 intrigues me the most. Now, I have to admit, you and I need to pound our chest here. Take a moment. We never do this. Do you know how much grief we've taken about our admiration for Matthew Stafford over the last 15 years?
Oh, I know.
And he came in 6th.
By NFL players.
By scouts, coaches, and executives. Right. You should see some of the quotes from these guys talking about Matthew Stafford. He's tough as blank. Okay. Yeah. And the Rams nearly got rid of him? What? Got to be kidding me. But tell you what, though, it shows what we're all up against, particularly in the AFC. So the top 4 quarterbacks in the league, who are all in a level amongst themselves, clearly better than everybody else. Mark, help me out here. Any of these guys play in the NFC? Mahomes, Allen, Burrow, and Lamar?
No.
No, that all seem like AFC quarterbacks to me.
They
Don't they?
do. They do. And Jaden Daniels cracked the top 5, right?
Yeah, he's 5th. Huh?
They have the 3rd best odds in the NFC. The Eagles have the best odds at plus 700, the Lions next, and then the Washington Commanders.
By the way, what do you think about Hurts 9? I mean, think about it. He's 2 of the last 3 years, he's gone to the Soup, won it.
I think he'll never be ranked as high as Eagle fan thinks he should be ranked, and will always be given less credit for whatever reason for what he does than other quarterbacks. I don't know if they think it's the line. I don't know if he doesn't get credit because he does the tush push better than anyone else. He simply moves the chains and wins games. You want to call it a system quarterback? Go ahead. But I think he will always be a bit underappreciated.
Justin Herbert or Jalen Hurts. Herbert came in 7th. Hurts came in 9th.
What's funny is, I think if you look at Herbert's numbers last year, his productivity went down substantially, but his quarterback rating went up. Like, he had far less yards last year than he had been having in the past. Well, that's because Harbaugh wants to run the football, and they'll run it more this year. He's trying to make the job easier for Herbert. And I think it's a team people are sleeping on in that division. A lot of people talking Broncos, and their roster's good. A lot depends on Nick's taking that next step as a quarterback. But
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Threw the ball 5 less times a game to back up what you're saying. Threw 3 interceptions before the playoff game against Houston. Threw 3 interceptions all season last year. Yet to win a playoff game. You know, quite frankly, he has more passing yards, by the way, his first 5 years in the league than any quarterback ever.
And that question you could just put up. Who would you rather have to quarterback your team? Hurts or Herbert? I think it's a fascinating question.
I do too.
I think more people would take Herbert, and I don't know if it's the right answer.
Jalen Hurts has rushed for 10 or more touchdowns in 4 consecutive years. I mean, you have to add that to his stats, don't you?
Absolutely.
I mean what's the
and
object?
How many first downs does he produce? How is that, whatever he's throwing for, how many first downs does he produce with his legs? Compare that to every other quarterback, including Lamar Jackson for that matter.
By the way, I think Hurts only threw 5 picks last year. They both cut down significantly on their turnovers last season.
Now, we all know Philadelphia has an elite offensive line, and that's part of it, but you do build your team around your personnel, and they have built their team perfectly for what they are.
Okay, here's what an NFL coordinator said about Jaden Daniels. Single-handedly took one of the worst franchises to the NFC title game. With a bad defense, only one legitimate wide receiver, a dinosaur at tight end, and an average at best offensive line.
It's why I wonder how they're going to be much better this year than last. I could see Washington taking a step back. I mean, think about all of the close games that they won. Think about their conversion rate on 4th down a year ago. It's tough for me to expect both of those things to be anywhere in the ballpark this year that they were a year ago. Just law of averages says they have to come down, David.
If you count the playoffs, 9 of their 14 wins last year were by 1 score. And they got on a big-time roll beginning in late November, in which they won them all, actually. I think they were 4-4 at one point and finished 9-4 in 1-score games by the end of the season. Now, they did add Tunsil. They did add a second wide receiver. I mean, I do think their roster is actually better than it was last year. Their schedule's significantly harder.
And do you really see them being as good in 1-score games as they were?
Well, and the point that you made during the season last year, never mind this whole offseason, you can't do better in 4th downs than Jaden Daniels, Cliff Kingsbury, and the Commanders did last year. They were like 22 of 27 on 4th down. They never punted. They always went for it, and they always kept the ball. You're not going to do that well again. So, but I thought that was a list that, was interesting.
I'll take the unhealthy fast food list. Southwest Florida's scorching heat is on its way. Stay cool with Air Advantage. As a proud Rheem Pro partner, Air Advantage delivers top-notch air conditioning solutions to keep you cool and comfortable. Right now, enjoy 18 months, no interest, no payments on qualifying systems. Call 433-4635 today for expert installation and unbeatable comfort all summer long. Online at myairadvantage.com. Air Advantage. Call today, 433-4635. 4635.
Wine glasses never fall over until you get a brand new rug.
Oh, no!
Ketchup bottles act normal till you're wearing a new shirt.
Oh, you kidding me?
And rocks slide peacefully on the road till the day you get a brand new windshield. Then they fly up off the road and attack without mercy. That's why new windshields from Glass Doctor come with our windshield protection plan. Unlimited repairs and one replacement for 12 months. Don't just fix it, protect it. Glass Doctor. A neighborly company.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Summer approaching, time to take care of your own house. So stop into the Floor Meisters and see their huge in-stock selection of carpet. The Floor Meisters has 100 rolls to choose from, starting at $2.99 a square foot for carpet, pad, and installation. Come in and ask for Dave and have him show you the Dream Weaver Select. Many styles and colors to choose from to fit everyone's taste. Floor Meisters, 6281 Naples Boulevard in Naples, right next to Costco, or go to the web, floormeisters.com.
For over 50 years, the Nolan family has been dedicated to protecting local families. Nolan Family Insurance is a second-generation independent agency that specializes in home, flood, auto, and boat insurance. They take the time needed to explain your coverage options and answer your questions so you can make an informed decision that's right for you. If you're looking for an agency that treats you like family, call 941-639-1122 or go to NolanAgency.com. That's 941-639-1122 or NolanAgency.com.
Miller and Moulton would like to thank the sponsors that, quite frankly, saved the show in 2024. Whether it was Floor Meisters, American Paint Supplies, Glass Doctor, Molly Maid, Cigar Bar, Sleep Treatment Direct, the Diamond District, and even the Cape Coral Police Department, thank you. We're hopeful of a great 2025, still needing sponsors, so reach out to Miller and Moulton via X at that Mark Miller or the David Moulton, or text us at 21,000. But Miller and Moulton says thank you to our sponsors and to you, our loyal listeners.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Sonny, I'm sorry, today's a gloomy day.
Why, is your mother-in-law coming in town too?
Didn't you just do vacation?
She wasn't with us. My mom.
Oh,
I had a week of my mother in the same house for 7 days
right,
and 2 long drives.
right.
And then I follow that up with a week off, now a week of my mother-in-law.
You're going to play a lot of golf this week, aren't you?
My back's so bad, I don't even know if I can, David.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I've never hurt like this. This sucks.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It is the bonus hour in the 239 and the 904. Hey, thanks so much for being with us. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Not one, but 2 poll questions today. The young American got double bageled in the Wimbledon final. Historically embarrassing, 6-love, 6-love. Would you rather make the final and be historically embarrassed, or would you rather, no, it's okay, I'll lose in the semis, I'm good. Nobody will remember it. Nobody will talk about it forever. That Mark Miller, the David Moulton, vote accordingly. And then today's Mac and Cheese Day, National Mac and Cheese Day. And Mark asked a question that I don't even know exists. So how do you prefer your mac and cheese, homemade or boxed? And I contend nobody makes homemade mac and cheese. I don't think I've ever seen it outside of a restaurant. But Mark says it's a thing. Says he, in fact, has prepared it at least 50 times.
I would almost guarantee it's been at my house when you've been over.
Huh.
For a derby party or something. I would almost guarantee it. Because it's rather easy to make. It's good. Most people like it. So it's kind of my go-to. One of my go-tos when I'm having a big, especially if I'm making barbecue. It's a nice side with your barbecue.
That's true. People do love it with their barbecue. Just curious, what cheese do you go with in your homemade mac and cheese?
Multiple. Never just one. Always a combination of 2 or 3 cheeses, minimum.
Now, when somebody like me says that's cute, it all tastes the same. Do you ask me to leave? How does that work exactly?
No, I would expect you to go, oh, this is all right, but it's not as good as Kraft. And then I
would never say that.
You think it?
Like, I'll acknowledge, like the mac and cheese that I get at restaurants, it's all better than Kraft. I mean, all of it. It's just the only place I've ever been where I wasn't offered up Kraft. I don't think I've ever been in a house in which somebody put mac and cheese on a plate or in a bowl for me. I'm trying to think in our holiday dinners was mac and cheese offered up. I don't know that it was a side dish. Okay, my mom will text me right now and let me know.
I believe, and I'm not positive, help me out, my Southern friends, but isn't mac and cheese something you might see on the table at Thanksgiving in a Southern home? I could be dead wrong, and if I am, I apologize. But I find it, I mean, you don't go to enough parties. And we know both of us aren't going anymore in our life, so your days of homemade mac and cheese have probably ended.
Well, you may, because you still have an 11-year-old daughter. She's socializing, she's meeting people. Therefore, you and your wife are meeting people. Your wife, I think, likes to socialize. Okay,
she's busy. You know what I found out, too, is that we had parents check up on us.
What?
Yeah, when we took the daughter for her birthday, we went up to Tampa to a water park.
Okay.
And she brought 2 of her friends. She started a new school last year, so she brought 2 of her new friends.
Okay.
And my wife's like, they're not going to let their daughters go with us on a 2-hour drive. They don't know us at all. There's no way. And I'm like, yeah, they are. I'm just telling you. She now goes to a private school, and I'm like, I'll guarantee you the parents are just going to okay it. There's a different level of trust with that than there is with a public school, as to my own personal knowledge, because I did the same thing when I was younger, transferred from a public school to a private school. And lo and behold, both parents immediately, said yes. I wouldn't say immediately, but pretty quickly. Come to find out, the one mom went on Facebook, looked both me and the wife up, apparently, saw that we had common friends, and immediately reached out to the common friend and said, tell me about the Millers.
Whoa! She looked you up. She did background on you guys?
A little background on us.
Wow.
Now, I thought we were clear there because I met the dad at a father-daughter dance. And the dad is a listener of the show. So I figured that alone was going to give us the green light. But not so much. Dads don't make those decisions when it comes to their daughters. Moms make those decisions.
Right.
And so she did a little R&D, David. And we, fortunately, for my daughter's sake, passed the test.
I could only imagine how this went. Honey, do you know these people at all? Well, I know the husband a little bit. He's, one half of that radio show I listen to in the mornings. And she probably just stared back at him like, yeah, that's not good enough. I need more than that. Okay. You could be an axe murderer and still co-host a sports talk show. You got to do better than that. I don't know. He seems nice. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to have to look him up. All right. Thanks.
By the way, in the text chat room for both YouTube and Twitch, and our text line, 21,000, if you do not know the text line, 21,000, if you've not texted the show before, Miller's the keyword. You need to text to 21,000. Then you've opened the door and can text as much as you would like. This texter says, mac and cheese is absolutely a staple dish. You'll find any Southern home now you go to above a certain budget level, you might not find it. But yeah, I'm getting not only Thanksgiving, but Easter is a mac and cheese staple, particularly in the South.
Well, I grew up in Jersey, and my mom just texted and said, okay, A, mac and cheese wasn't a staple, and B, okay, in the last 10 or so years, whenever we had mac and cheese at a holiday dinner, it was Kraft.
Well, I can't say that I'm surprised.
No, you shouldn't be.
I'm actually impressed that someone bought the box and actually cooked it.
Well, my mother will buy it and Aunt Kathy will cook it. I mean, that's the teamwork there. So anyway, those are our 2 poll questions. We've actually come up with a lot of other poll questions on the show today. We just haven't posted them. I love the one we came up with a half an hour ago. ESPN's top 10 list according to NFL coaches, executives, and front office people as to who the top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL are. Justin Herbert came in 7th and Jalen Hurts 9th. And we just said, who would you rather have? Herbert or Hurts?
Might be the poll question tomorrow. We've got a few texters that said it's not even close. It's Hurts. So quickly, a couple people asking, we did our French fry poll question on Friday.
Yep.
Five Guys, Checkers, McDonald's, and Arby's curly fries. McDonald's made a strong come-from-behind victory. Miller and Moulton are convinced it's on reputation alone. It has nothing to do with quality at this point. It won by 0.8 over Five Guys. Checkers came in last, but those of you that like Checkers raved about it, said they're the best fries. It's not even close. So Moulton went on an R&D mission over the weekend. He went to a Checkers and gives the fries just an average grade.
They were better than average, but definitely they don't make the top 4 list. No. The burger was better than the fries. The burger was outstanding. The burger might make the top 4 list. I mean,
so you're going back for the burgers, what you're telling me. You'll be back. Or is it too far of a drive to get a fast food burger?
Mark. Is any place too far for me to get the right fast food meal? I mean, seriously.
Actually,
Mark.
yes, you've talked about it on the show. The favorite thing I like about where I live is I can go to McDonald's, Wendy's, and Burger King, and it's all quarter of a mile from my house. So, yeah, I would think that it is.
Well, that may be the favorite thing about where I live, but it doesn't mean I won't go the extra mile to a place if that's what I'm jonesing for. I mean, within 3 miles in either direction of where we live, okay, I can get, you name it, I can get it. Seriously, name it, I can get it within 3 miles in either direction. Whataburger, got it. Okay. Chick-fil-A, got it. This McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, Checkers, okay, Chipotle, just name it. Jersey Mike's, Subway, done. I don't know if there's something you can name that Popeyes, done. KFC, done. Taco Bell, done. Yeah, for me, that's prime real estate. That's location, location, location. Yes. Okay. I don't care about the schools. Okay. That ship has sailed. Don't care. So yes, I would travel. It's a little further. It is. It was a little further, probably a half mile further than any other place that I have traveled to in my normal routine. It's on the other side of I-95. Okay. And I made sure to go that far and get it. And I'm glad I did. Excellent burger. Fries, they were good. They weren't Arby's curly fries. And Wendy's didn't even make our list. I don't even know if they're as good as Wendy's fries, to be honest.
Didn't Wendy's change their fries?
They did.
Are they thinner like McDonald's fries now? I haven't had, I don't eat fast food. So I'm not even privy to vote on a list like that.
Not to me. Okay. They still look, close enough.
Gotcha. One of the things we've told you for years is it's just a TV show. The other thing that we've stolen from Andrew Brandt, who has been on the show countless times, is that the lawyers always win.
There will always be lawyers.
There will always be lawyers, and they will always win. The judge in the House settlement with the NCAA just approved the attorney's fees in that case.
Unbelievable.
I'm going to let you at home because obviously with that answer, David's read the same post that I have in front of me. I'll let you just take a second and try to figure out in your head what the attorney's fees were for the House settlement with the NCAA. It was nearly $500 million. $455 million in attorney's fees. In attorney's fees.
Right.
Billable hours, baby. Billable hours.
Oh, the attorneys are employees. Is that what you're saying? Oh, they're employees. And the people working for the schools, they're employees. So once again, the only group in this entire case that's not employees are the athletes. Could we just stop already? Come on.
Found that number, even in today's world, to be overwhelming to me. That one punched me right in the nose. Miller and Moulton, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Today was a day one and what's on tap, all 25 minutes ahead. American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. For over 50 years, the Nolan family has been dedicated to protecting local families. Nolan Family Insurance is a second-generation independent agency that specializes in home, flood, auto, and boat insurance. They take the time needed to explain your coverage options and answer your questions so you can make an informed decision that's right for you. If you're looking for an agency that treats you like family, call 941-639-1122 or go to NolanAgency.com. That's 941-639-1122 or NolanAgency.com.
With summer approaching, time to take care of your own house. So stop into the Floor Meisters and see their huge in-stock selection of carpet. The Floor Meisters has 100 rolls to choose from, starting at $2.99 a square foot for carpet, pad, and installation. Come in and ask for Dave and have him show you the Dream Weaver Select. Many styles and colors to choose from to fit everyone's taste. Floor Meisters, 6281 Naples Boulevard in Naples, right next to Costco, or go to the web, floormeisters.com.
Southwest Florida's scorching heat is on its way. Stay cool with Air Advantage. As a proud Rheem Pro partner, Air Advantage delivers top-notch air conditioning solutions to keep you cool and comfortable. Right now, enjoy 18 months, no interest, no payments on qualifying systems. Call 433-4635 today for expert installation and unbeatable comfort all summer long. Online at myairadvantage.com. Air Advantage. Call today, 433-4635.
This is Miller and Moulton.
David, did you see? Oh, he's gone. Yeah, we don't have in and outs around here, Michael. That's a West Coast thing. I'm not too worried about it. I'll never eat it anyhow, but I know they don't have them here. People rave about In-N-Out. I do get that. I think David kind of said the same thing.
Yeah, Shimko, it is interesting, the whole In-N-Out. Like, those who love it think it is number one. Nothing else comes close.
So did you see the news Bob Pockras has tweeted out here in the last couple minutes? Basically, they've, 23XI and the other one filed a motion for a restraining order to keep their injunction and their charters. Statement indicates the plan is for them to not be chartered this week.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton. MillerandMoulton.com. Miller_Moulton on X. Make sure you vote in our poll questions. You like your mac and cheese homemade or boxed? And would you rather historically embarrassingly lose in the final, but you made it to the final? Or would you rather bow out gracefully in the semis instead?
A few more people would rather have homemade mac and cheese than get to the finals, but it's close. Both the finals and homemade mac and cheese having decisive advantages over their oppositions in the poll question.
Okay. Mark Miller on the winning side of our poll questions today. David Moulton on the short end. That's how that works. That Mark Miller, the David Moulton. Miller_Moulton on X. Vote accordingly. We had Matt Vincenzi to talk golf and Tim McKone to talk the Boston sports scene, predominantly the Red Sox, winners of 10 straight heading into the All-Star break. Matt, Tim, and all our guests, including David Sampson tomorrow, join us on the American Paint Supplies Hotline, your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. Thanks to American Paint Supplies.
David, the SEC Media Days opened. Commissioner Greg Sankey took the podium and said, for all of you that like to speculate about a super conference, welcome to one.
Good for you.
You're damn right. Good for it. I mean, they are puffing there. I mean, when the commissioner puffs his chest out like that, that's an onions move to start a presser right there. It really is.
LSU, Ole Miss, South Carolina, Vandy featured at SEC Media Days today, and I believe the morning is LSU and Ole Miss, so that means Brian Kelly and Lane Kiffin. Now, don't get me wrong, the Beamer guy is good and all, but that's a good morning right there. Little Brian Kelly, a little Lane Kiffin action. Quick sidebar. What is the Big Ten thinking, by the way? The Big Ten has moved their media days to Vegas. Now, don't get me wrong, a couple days in Vegas, that's great. It's media days. You're the Big Ten. Where's most of your media coming from?
The Midwest.
Thank you, Mark.
Midwest.
Thank you. Have they ever heard of Chicago? Indianapolis, maybe?
Well, I thought Chicago had been their destination for the past few years.
It had been.
It's easy. Every city, including the ones out west, can fly direct to Chicago.
Exactly.
Every single one. You can fly from from Lansing to Chicago. You could obviously fly from Detroit to Chicago, from Minnesota, Wisconsin. All of those schools can get direct to Chicago.
Why are they in Vegas?
By the way, think about it. Now, obviously, we're not at SEC Media Days. I'd like to go. David's but I think I could talk him into it, particularly if there was a sponsor involved. But If we were doing what we were doing for a living in Big Ten country, we're hosting in Michigan or in Indiana or in Ohio, whatever, particularly Michigan and Ohio that are in the Eastern, and Indiana that are in the Eastern time zone. Now I'm going to do a morning show at SEC Media Days that I've got to be up at 3 a.m. for.
Well, hell.
I mean, they do, but they do. The SEC Media Days are loaded with radio stations.
Yeah.
All there.
Yeah. They're doing morning shows there, trying to get a couple of people on live near the end of their show, and then they're recording interviews and taping stuff and running it back the next day. Absolutely. And trust me, Mark, as somebody who travels to the West Coast frequently and gets up to do this show, you ain't getting up at 3. You're going on the air at 3.
Right. Yeah, you're getting up at 2.
Or earlier.
Right.
But isn't the idea to have as many media at, wait for it, media days? And in this day and age, also, come on, get a clue. The St. Louis Blues just fired their television announcer to save money. Media's trying to save money everywhere. They're not even sending announcers to all the games. Announcers are sitting in a room and broadcasting games remotely. And you want us to go to Vegas, where it fits virtually nobody's time slot, and it's more money? Come on, think. I mean, guess where the SEC has media days? I mean, crazy cities, okay? Like somewhere between Atlanta and Dallas. That's where they have SEC media days. As far east as Atlanta, as far west as Dallas. Hell, you can drive to Dallas from Gainesville. Go north an hour to I-10, make a left. Travel it for a while, then head north for a couple hours. You're there. It's a leisurely drive, as I like to say. Unreal. And that's next week, by the way. Big Ten Media Days in Vegas.
The SEC's kickoff today. The ACC, or the Big 12, was last week. When did the ACC next week as well?
I don't know. I'd be lying if I said I knew. I think it's next week. I don't think they compete with the SEC at all.
Right.
Which would be smart. Because also some of the same media will go to ACC Media Day. I mean, they will. I mean, obviously, you got South Carolina stations that would go to both. Georgia stations, Florida stations. So why compete? So I think it's the latter part of next week. But don't quote me.
We'll see how much the SEC coaches double down on the 5-11 model this week. Probably one of the things I'm most curious about from SEC Media Days. And then I'm hearing reports that a lot of teams aren't bringing their quarterbacks, and that has media members bothered. I don't care.
And like Irish football says, there will be plenty of media in Vegas. They will, the national media. They'll go everywhere. They have the budgets to go everywhere. What you're trying to get at these things are all the Miller and Moulton shows to go, the local newspapers to go, and websites and what have you. And they operate on budgets with not a lot of money in reserve.
And and that's the point, because there's really nothing else you're getting out of these media days. Like I said early in the show, it is simply content for these radio shows and people who write about college athletics to have in July, because there's not a lot of content about football right now.
I mean, we've asked our audience. We used to make a concerted effort to try to get to Super Bowl Radio Row. And we had a good run early in our history together because we had Super Bowls in Jacksonville, 2 in Miami, 1 in Tampa. So obviously we can get in a car and drive to these. Okay. And we haven't had a Super Bowl, that you could drive to realistically New Orleans, I think, is the closest Super Bowl we've had to us. But also doing a morning show, you don't get anybody live if you're doing a morning show. I mean, it's tough to get a live guest in the morning. And so, but we've asked our audience, do you guys even want us at Radio Row? Do you want us at these media days where we all know what the game is? They're there because they're getting paid by a sponsor. They got to hawk the sponsor. We get that out of the way right away. Let them get their sales pitch out of the way. Then we do our 8 to 10 minutes of content. Thank you very much. Remember, so-and-so's here for Schick razors. And a lot of you have said, got to be honest, I'm kind of tired of Radio Row. Huh.
And Radio Row's definitely jumped the shark.
Yep.
When we were first going, you could get a lot more content. Not as many people show up on Radio Row. They've already got their interviews with the national shows, and the national shows have largely left Radio Row because they're getting dollars to show up at Restaurant X to do their show. We're humble. We'll just stay in the studio forever. Miller and Moulton.
Honey, you want to come out? I haven't seen you since Glass Doctor installed our custom shower enclosure.
No thanks.
Well, you can't keep eating breakfast in the shower, and laminating your magazines is getting expensive. You remember we have guests coming over tonight, right?
Oh, I'm sure they'd love to see the shower.
It's our neighbors, and I highly doubt they want to be hanging out in our bathroom.
The shower's so good, you'll never want to leave. Visit glassdoctor.com today and schedule an appointment online.
Whether you're chasing peak performance, reigniting intimacy, or simply want to feel your best, Game Day Men's Health creates customized game plans to optimize your health. Call 239-427-3441 for our Bonita Springs and Naples location to set up your free testosterone test and consultation. Mention Miller Moulton Radio Show for 10% off your service. Find your maximum self with Game Day Men's Health, Bonita Springs and Naples, Florida. Call 239-427-3441 today.
With summer approaching, time to take care of your own house. So stop into the Floor Meisters and see their huge in-stock selection of carpet. The Floor Meisters has 100 rolls to choose from, starting at $2.99 a square foot for carpet, pad, and installation. Come in and ask for Dave and have him show you the Dream Weaver Select. Many styles and colors to choose from to fit everyone's taste. Floor Meisters, 6281 Naples Boulevard in Naples, right next to Costco, or go to the web, floormeisters.com.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Michael, you missed it, but he agreed with the other person who said it's overrated.
I have had it. I like it. I think it's good. I don't think it's, I don't think it's Five Guys. I'll be honest with you, I enjoyed the Checkers burger yesterday more than In-N-Out. I ordered the number one at Checkers, whatever that burger was. It was excellent. Irish Dan Patrick does everything involving interviews so well. First off,
he doesn't go to Radio Row. That's my point. Right. He's nowhere near Radio Row and hasn't been for 10 years.
No, and they come to him.
A specific location. The guests are all, come on, everybody does his show.
That's the other reason, that when you're as big as Dan Patrick, the guests come to you. They want to be on the show.
The key is he does not do Radio Row.
Right.
You have to understand, Radio Row's in a convention center, a predetermined location. Dan Patrick is nowhere near that location. He's out in public somewhere in front of a restaurant or in front of something. I mean, that's a big time show that's getting paid big money to do that because they're going to have a big audience wherever they go. It's apples and oranges compared to local shows, or even in our case, a small regional show.
Michael, I will say this. I like In-N-Out a little more than Whataburger. I think it's got a little more taste.
I've never had either.
But the Whataburger's big, though. Whataburgers are big. You get a lot of burger with your burger at Whataburger. But Michael, I think the key to the In-N-Out is their sauce. I mean, to me, the special sauce that they put on their burger is the same Russian dressing that's on the Big Mac. So, Whataburger to me is bigger than the Whopper. I don't know if that's true or not, but to me, they are.
They all suck. They all just suck.
It's okay. We had high drama inside the house this morning. My wife went to make tuna mac and couldn't find the tuna. And I know she bought it. And it was in the fridge. I just waited for her to find it. I could have helped, but it was too much entertainment. You know, Irish football, I haven't had a Red Robin since Fargo. Didn't say I was having it for breakfast. Just talking about making it to have it around the house.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. David Sampson among our guests tomorrow here on Miller and Moulton. Good, bad, and ugly. What's on tap? Today was the day when. Some final thoughts all coming up. Hey, what was that thing you were telling me about that Bob Pockras threw out there?
Oh, basically the 23 XI Racing, the two groups that are suing NASCAR,
right?
Front Row Motorsports or whatever, and Jordan's team,
right?
They filed for another because they've been losing. They filed a temporary injunction trying to keep their charters for the rest of this year.
Right.
NASCAR plans, according to Bob Pockras and a release by NASCAR, they're not racing with their charters in this week in Dover.
So their cars have to qualify.
I believe that's the case. You're much better at this than I am, but I saw him tweeting out in a mad frenzy about this in the last 15 minutes and caught it and went, I'll be damned.
Okay, here's my understanding as to how this hampers them. A, they have to qualify, so there is the possibility they could actually miss races, although that's not likely because we very rarely, first off, I think they've limited NASCAR fields now to about 40, and very rarely do you have much more than 40 cars trying to get in a race. Secondly, they make a lot less money, though.
Right. That's what I noticed because and less points.
And
that's
less
the big
points. And we are a little over a month away from the playoff. So if you haven't won
significantly less points, David.
It is, right.
Because Chastain finished like 10th in that road race. He had not this past one, the one before, because they do that every week, apparently now. But he was like 10th in the race, but 6th in points because, guys who were in the top 10 were not chartered members, were just road course race guys, and they don't get the same points.
Right. And they're a little over a month away. I think they're about 6 weeks away from setting the playoff field. And I think 12 drivers have won races this year. So I think right now you're racing for 4 spots with 4 to 6 weeks left. And yes, those 2 race teams will be earning less points the rest of the season because of this situation.
It's that time again, nearing the end, but not quite there yet. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
Today was the day when, brought to you by Game Day Men's Health, Bonita Springs and Naples. Call today, 239-427-3441. Or visit online, GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Mention this show, Miller and Moulton, for an additional 10% off of your service. We start today in 1789. The French Revolution begins with the storming of the Bastille prison in Paris. It is now celebrated as France's National Day. President Franklin Pierce. How many of you had no idea that Franklin Pierce was one of our presidents? He opened the World's Fair in New York City as an exhibition of the industry of all nations, today in 1853. 1870, Congress grants Mary Todd Lincoln a life pension in the amount of $3,000 a year. Sheriff Pat Garrett shoots Billy the Kid today in New Mexico in 1881. Dr. Spock published the Common Sense Book of Baby and Child Care today in 1946. 1951, in his last race, Citation wins the Hollywood Gold Cup by 4 lengths to become America's first millionaire horse. Hank Aaron hits number 500 today in 68. Easy Rider was released today in 1969. 56 years old that movie is today. That same day, the United States took out the $500, $1,000, $5,000, and $10,000 bills. They were officially withdrawn from circulation. What a baller you must have been to have a $10,000 bill.
It's amazing. Did you get that at an ATM?
Today in 1979, disco was still a big deal. And Donna Summer's Bad Girls, a song about prostitutes, was number 1 in the land. The film adaptation of Pink Floyd's The Wall was released today in 1982. The band Living Colour, their song Cult of Personality, was released today in 1988. Was a great song then, still a great song now. When Harry Met Sally, released today in 1989.
I'll have what she's having.
That's Reiner's mom.
Yep.
Or no, is it? Yeah, it's
Yep.
Reiner's mom, right? He always put his mom little bit parts in films.
Gave her the punchline of the movie.
And a year ago, at the age of 21, Alcaraz wins his 4th major, beating Djokovic in straight sets. William Hanna from Hanna-Barbera, Woody Guthrie, Gerald Ford, and Lee Elder would have all celebrated birthdays today. Conor McGregor is 37, and that's all I've got. David, what did I miss?
You said Gerald Ford, right?
I did.
No, my only thing is I'm bummed that we didn't do a show yesterday because yesterday was the 40th of Live Aid.
Right.
I loved Live Aid.
Watched a little video yesterday, and they interviewed some of the singers. They interviewed Geldof. They interviewed a lot of people who performed and basically said, could it be done today? And by and large, they went, no.
It's amazing he pulled that off. Did you see an interview Bono did? Okay, which he goes, it's really difficult for me to watch Live Aid. And people are like, why? Your performance was great. It took you guys to another level. He's like, did you see my hair? I can't. I mean, what did he have?
Yeah, it was bad. It was 1985. It was MTV Video's Flock of Seagulls lifestyle, David.
It was. The music was exceptional. And there were a lot of amazing performances. But everybody agrees that Freddie Mercury and Queen were the best.
I remember watching that, and I liked Queen. I had the Another One Bites the Dust album at that point. So I was, very familiar with their music and liked them. That's when I realized how, even as a kid, just how big with the way they controlled the crowd at Wembley. I've never seen any other act have that much control over a crowd. You've seen Springsteen, countless times. I've seen a lot of concerts. I've never seen a band have that kind of control of an audience.
Went to a U2 concert in the mid-'80s in Hartford, and he told us what he wanted us to do as we were leaving the concert. And it was a tremendous show. And he was singing a song. And when he was done with it, he just started humming. And then he asked us, would we all now go out into the streets of Hartford humming this tune? And 17,000 of us left the Civic Center humming U2 as we all went out into the streets of Hartford. And then we all stood at one another and kept humming for a while before then looking for something to do. And 40 years ago, Mark, there was nothing open in Hartford past 10 o'clock at night. I don't know if it's changed, but I can tell you I couldn't even get a burger after a U2 concert in Hartford. I mean, what kind of performance is that?
Let alone a combo meal.
Time to see life a little bit differently. Here's Mark Miller with the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
I could argue this is the best good that I've ever had in the history of this show.
Wow.
And I think it will be to you also, David. We go to Tempe, Arizona for the good, where authorities showed up at a home that was not expecting the police to show up. You see, the police had just got done arresting a driver. The driver was a Grubhub driver, and he was arrested for speeding and racing. But that's where the Tempe police kicked in. Because when they showed up at the customer's door who ordered the Grubhub, the customer said she was shocked when she opened the door to find two police officers there with her pizza. How are you doing? The officers asked. She said, good. How are you? And they said, very good, Brandy, which had her more confused. They then told her that your Grubhub guy got arrested, but we still delivered your pizza.
Outstanding. Outstanding. What police force is this?
Tempe, Arizona.
Outstanding.
The second officer added, it should still be warm.
That's spectacular.
That's above and beyond the call right there, David.
That's serving the people right there.
For the bad, we go to Key West, where Floyd DeVasier, a 63-year-old, rented a boat Then he disappeared.
Oh, yeah.
He had filled an extra 20-gallon fuel tank before leaving. He got cut off because he was trying to make it to Cuba in the rented boat.
Yes, he was.
Cuban Coast Guard alerted our authorities that he was in their waters. He was flown back to Miami where he was arrested.
Hey, guys, we got a live one here.
Finally, the ugly. We go to Bluefield, West Virginia.
Hello.
Where Matthew McDonald and his passenger, Shannon Bryant, were in a recreational vehicle. They were drunk. They had stolen the RV. And they were wearing no clothes while canoodling when they were arrested by the officers.
All righty then.
So it's a trifecta: stolen RV, DWI, and of course, did you have to ask? Yes, there were drugs on the scene. That is the good, the bad, and the ugly on today, Monday, July the 14th, here on Miller and Moulton.
There are 2 WNBA games tonight, if anyone's interested. I don't know where they're being televised. Minnesota and Chicago, Phoenix and Golden State. But it is something for you to bet on, for those of you that like to do that. Okay, speaking of betting, home run derby tonight, baby. Cal Raleigh's the favorite at 3-1. My guy's the second betting favorite. I'm very disappointed. I thought I kind of had a little insight here. O'Neal Cruz is plus 330.
You might have moved the line bringing that up on Friday. You were into him early, David. I think you affected the line.
James Wood, David Sampson's pick. He's the third choice at 4-1. Then you start to get some odds. Byron Buxton's 8.5-1. Matt Olson replacing Acuna is 9-1. Junior Caminero is 9.5-1. Brent Rooker's 10-1. And Jazz Chisholm is 14-1. Home run derby tonight. I think it's an 8:00 deal.
I'll take your word for it. I'll turn it on, I'm sure. It lasts forever. I think the home run derby lasts entirely too long. Round after round after round. It just seems endless to me. But not much else for you to watch tonight.
I don't disagree. No, this is one of the worst sports days and nights of the year. Spend some time with your family. By the way,
solid advice any day, David.
Well, it depends on the family. Sankey was just asked, hey, are you guys of the Big Ten going to come to an agreement? And he goes, we have a 12-team playoff, 5 conference champions. That'll stay if we don't agree.
He's doubling and tripling down at these media days early on. He opened by saying, for all of you looking for a super conference, we are one. That is outstanding. Miller and Moulton. Miss any of the show, go to millerandmoulton.com. David Sampson will be with us tomorrow. Have a great day. Southwest Florida's scorching heat is on its way. Stay cool with Air Advantage. As a proud Rheem Pro partner, Air Advantage delivers top-notch air conditioning solutions to keep you cool and comfortable. Right now, enjoy 18 months, no interest, no payments on qualifying systems. Call 433-4635 today for expert installation and unbeatable comfort all summer long. Online at myairadvantage.com. Air Advantage. Call today, 433-4635.
Wine glasses never fall over until you get a brand new rug.
Oh, no!
Ketchup bottles act normal till you're wearing a new shirt.
Oh, you kidding me?
And rocks lie peacefully on the road till the day you get a brand new windshield. Then they fly up off the road and attack without mercy. That's why new windshields from Glass Doctor come with our windshield protection plan. Unlimited repairs and one replacement for 12 months. Don't just fix it, protect it. Glass Doctor, a neighborly company.
For over 50 years, the Nolan family has been dedicated to protecting local families. Nolan Family Insurance is a second-generation independent agency that specializes in home, flood, auto, and boat insurance. They take the time needed to explain your coverage options and answer your questions so you can make an informed decision that's right for you. If you're looking for an agency that treats you like family, call 941-639-1122 or go to NolanAgency.com. That's 941-639-1122 or NolanAgency.com.
Honey, you want to come out? I haven't seen you since Glass Doctor installed our custom shower enclosure.
No thanks.
Well, you can't keep eating breakfast in the shower, and laminating your magazines is getting expensive. You remember we have guests coming over tonight, right?
Oh, I'm sure they'd love to see the shower.
It's our neighbors, and I highly doubt they want to be hanging out in our bathroom.
The shower's so good, you'll never want to leave. Visit glassdoctor.com today and schedule an appointment online.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Miller and Moulton are very grateful to you, the listeners, for making us one of the highest rated shows for men, because the working man is one of the toughest demos to reach, and we do. Great sponsors like Floor Meisters, American Paint Supplies, Glass Doctor, Sleep Treatment Direct, Game Day Men's Health, and Molly Maid recognize that, and we thank them. And if you own a business and working men are your clientele, the most cost-effective way to reach them is through us. Text Miller and Moulton at 21,000 or directly via X at that Mark Miller or the David.
This is Miller and Moulton